Smoke, smoke, smoke.
Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Fendi, Fendi, Prada. Them basic bitches wear that shit, so I don't even bother. Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Fendi, Fendi, Prada. Them basic bitches wear that shit, so I don't even bother. I put that on my partner, I put that on my family. Oakland City represent, address me as your majesty. Yeah, you can kiss a ring, but you can never touch the crown. I smoke a million Swisher blunts and I ain't never coming down. Bitch, you ain't no Barbie, I see you work at Arby's. Never too supersized, hurry up, I'm starving. Gnarly, radical, on the block I'm magical. See me at your college campus, baggy full of Adderalls. Call me if you need a fix, call me if you need a boost. See them other chicken heads, they don't ever leave the coop. I'm in the coop cruising, I got the stolen plates, serving all the fiends over there by the Golden Gate. Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Fendi, Fendi, Prada, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Fendi, Fendi, Prada. Them basic bitches wear that shit, so I don't even bother. Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Louis, Fendi, Fendi, Prada. Them basic bitches wear that shit, so I don't even bother. I put that on my partner, I put that on my family. Oakland City represent, address me as your majesty. Yeah, you can kiss a ring, but you can never touch the crown. I smoke a million Swisher blunts and I ain't never coming down.
Smoke, smoke,
Do you agree that there's no such thing as racism, sexism, homophobism, Islamophobism, deadbeat dadism, white supremacism, and all the other isms? Destiny, that's a woman's name. You were raised by your daddy and mama. That makes you half man and half woman. You are a beta. You're not a real man, beta. I just have one question for ya, beta. There's just one thing I want to know. Destiny, do you love all people? Do you really love the blacks? Destiny, do you love black people? Why can't you just answer the question? Destiny, do you love all people?
Systems, the company store, the paradigm of absolute control. And that's why we're just out here doing simple things, pointing out that we're meant to be in nature and be natural. And this is where we find the source that God made to transcend the New World Order. And that's why they want to try to keep us out of it.
I'm angry. I've had enough of these people. They're a bunch of Christian murderers, scum. They're on giant death factories, keeping babies alive and selling their body parts. What more do you need to know about these people? I go out and face these scum. They literally crawl out from under rocks. They screaming, we love Satan, we wanna eat babies. I have them on video. Hillary's in the creepy, weird, sick stuff, man. She sleeps in the same room with that creepy, weird woman whose mother wears a hood over her head. What the hell? That woman number one is ugly. Imagine how bad she smells, man. I'm told her and Obama just stink. Obama and Hillary both smell like sulfur. Literal vampire pot-bellied goblins are hobbling round, coming after us. My spirit gets close to that evil and I feel it go. We're such self-centered crap, we don't even notice hell itself rising up against us. Millions of pointed people of the very worst type, and I'm so pissed. We're gonna stab your daughter at the mall. We're gonna stab your wife, your son. We're gonna stab you with a butcher knife, and then the police chief is gonna say, we love our Somalis, we love our Muslims. Oh, they're so good, oh, they're so sweet.
I was watching Fox News as I worked out this morning.
Whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. I said certified freak. 7 days a week. Wet ass P word. Make that pull-out game weak. Yeah.
The liars are lying, and they will continue lying until you believe the
wet
lie.
ass P word. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet ass P word. Give me everything you've got for this wet ass P word. Beat it up, N word. Catch a charge. Extra large and extra hard. Put this P word right in your face. Swipe your nose like a credit card. Hop on top if I want to ride. I do a Kegel while it's inside. Spit in my mouth. Look in my eyes. This P word is wet. Come take a dive. It continues along these lines. And it gets significantly more vulgar. Like, a lot more vulgar.
I keep that thing on me. God damn it, Bobby. They see me selling propane and now they trying to copy. Pretend to be broke, but I got hella cash. If you use charcoal, I'ma kick your ass. Made this money from propane, bitch. I feel like Pablo Escobar, but I don't sell cocaine, bitch. Shot that fella cause he didn't make his payments. Fuck with me, I keep a rocket launcher in my basement. Made this money from propane, bitch. I feel like Pablo Escobar, but I don't sell cocaine, bitch. Shot that fella cause he didn't make his payments. Fuck with me, I keep a rocket launcher in my basement. Oh man, goddamn, I caught Bobby jacking off. Syrup ain't no cough. Big Hank, break the law. Lady Bird, that's my dog. Peggy got that wet, I'll flip you like a tech deck. Yeah, I run my set, I'm running up them checks. If you using charcoal, that's a red dot at your head. Propane till I'm dead, bitch, I'm off the meds. We be smoking loud, and you smoking on mid. Me and Dale getting lit, and I'm running from the feds. Made this money from propane, bitch. I feel like Pablo Escobar, but I don't sell cocaine, bitch. Shot that fella cause he didn't make his payments. Fuck with me, I keep a rocket launcher in my basement. Made this money from propane, bitch. I feel like Pablo Escobar, but I don't sell cocaine, bitch. Shot that fella cause he didn't make his payments. Fuck with me, I keep a rocket launcher in my basement.
Yo, it's a B-Word broadcast. Let's go. How's it going? Thanks so much for the subscribe, Loud Tyrant Youth. We gonna build on up. We're gonna build on up, make ourselves a great little community. Hell yeah, let's go. And yeah, you're so polite to be so supportive. We checking out on the Amber v. Heard trial again. It's got a bit kind of like lame looking video, but apparently it's spicy, so we'll check that out. And the Freedom Convoy's coming back. Can you believe it? The Rolling Thunder coming to Ottawa today. Didn't even know about it. Was talking to one of the organizers at the Freedom Convoy in Ottawa, and he didn't say anything about that. Or in Montreal. Canada Unity. Like, he didn't mention anything about that. So, gonna see what's going on there. I imagine it's pretty crazy. And yeah, I'm super excited. It's good. I got some coffee. Hope you got some caffeine for this morning. It's gonna be a good day. Yeah, the Amber v. Heard stuff's popping off. People are like tuned in for it. They're there for it. And I think like we're naturally curious just because they're celebrities. But in all honesty, the trial's been fucking weird. It's just been kind of strange. Just kind of unusual. So yeah, we're gonna stay on that beat for sure. And it's gonna be another good stream. Let's go. I also, just because I had another Ben Shabibo clip playing while the subscribe thing played, so I just want to hear this again because I made it so long ago.
The liars are lying, and they will continue lying until you believe the lie.
Okay, yeah, that's a pretty good clip. That's a pretty good clip. I don't even remember making that. But there you go, Loud Tyrant Youth. You got to hear. You got it. Whoo, it's an original. A lot of people have clipped Shabibo. I think I'm the first one to get that one. The liars are lying, and they will continue to lie until you believe the lie. So, actually, yeah, okay, yeah, based Shabibo. That's true. That is how the big lie works. You just keep repeating it, and it's just out there. So yeah, we gonna move on to the actual point of today's stream. We also got a new subscriber, someone I knew from my hometown, I think. It's not showing up here, but all right, that's enough. Party Boy 69, not feeling the hype, that much hype this morning. Oh man.
Ladies and gentlemen, all right, your next witness.
Good morning, Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Depp calls Terrence Doherty, D-O-U-G.
Okay, so we're at the beginning of the trial. We're going to speed it up a little bit. Yeah, thanks, Dan Dufour. I'm getting better at remembering that I make the same mistakes. So I did a little check there. I'm just like, oh, wait. You usually make the mistake when you switch to the actual content. Your mic mutes for reasons. Still don't know why. But here we go. We're getting better. We got our first subscriber. I don't even think I'm gonna put up like the. Should I put like a sub goal? I guess I'll work on a sub goal. I guess that makes sense. People do sub goals, right? Like first to 5. Try to hit 5 subscribers in the first like month or something. I don't know. We'll see.
Gherty. And for the first part of the deposition, it will be Mr. Depp's counsel asking the questions, and then it will change, and we'll let you know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so Depp's gonna ask some questions of one of their witnesses. And I think it's like his bodyguard, Starling. What a name. Starling. Oh boy, we're seeing his face move. Golly gee. Johnny Depp is saying things. Okay, we're just gonna skip through this. This looks like a bunch of confusion.
Address.
Really?
Full name for the record.
Oh, here we go.
Zero.
Here we go. People do indeed, but apparently from what I've heard, a lot of it has to do with hype trains. Had a whole conversation. Yeah, the scam trains, the scam trains. So like from what I understand, Twitch takes such a big cut of your sub. Like your sub probably costs you about $7 Canadian. I think it's gone up. It used to be like 5 or whatever. So I get like 350 of that, but I only get it once I get up to $100. So you gotta try to like get a bunch of subscribers to like or go viral in some way or somehow get enough of a continuation going. I think Rhizome called it like mutual aid. Like if you get a big enough community, they can start supporting each other by gifting subs. And then Twitch notices and gives a hype train and tries to like incentivize people, gamify them into donating money by like bright lights and colors, you know. And if the streamer's leaning into it, then yeah, it's absolutely successful. Yeah, I mean, I'm just here to make good content and check out the news. I think I'm going to be doing this whether I get donations or not. I'm just kind of like, my brain's broken that way.
Address.
360 Riverside Drive.
Good morning, Mr. Doherty. Would you please state your full name for the record?
Terrence Doherty.
What is your address?
360 Riverside Drive, New York.
Why is he
got
giving
BA
his
there,
address?
and with the
Did he
majors.
just dox himself? Hype trains are triggered by a certain number of subs and bits. Apparently, it's the only organic way to end up on the front page. Okay. Yeah, I guess at the end of the day, I am trying to figure out like the whole clout chasing game, but I want to do it well. I want to be like authentic about it because I just really don't like what a lot of Twitch has become. Just a lot of the yelling and the dishonesty. So I want to try to get on some more panels, try to like make some friendships. I really like Paradigm Shift. I'll see if I do some more stuff with him. I haven't done anything with Half White Full Black yet. So yeah, I just want to kind of do a bit more collaboration, try to figure out some more like group events. I think it'll be interesting.
In history and in English, and I studied viola da gamba performance at the Oberlin Conservatory. I then took 4 years. 4 years after I graduated, I went to Columbia Law School.
In what year did you receive your BA from Oberlin?
1991.
And what did you do in the 4 years between your graduation from Oberlin and going to law school?
I was a kindergarten teacher in the South Bronx at a homeless shelter for a few years. And then I did freelance editing work for an academic press named Routledge, and simultaneously was the writer, research assistant to feminist cultural critic Bell Hooks.
Yo, whoa,
and remind me,
what
sir,
the
where
fuck? This guy worked for Bell Hooks? No, stop.
Academic press named Routledge, and simultaneously was the writer, research assistant to feminist cultural critic Bell Hooks.
Bro, okay, this guy is in my good books. If you don't know who Bell Hooks is, she's like one of the more influential feminist authors. Absolutely crazy good writer. Bell Hooks, there she is. Yeah, she's really based. Super good writer. So yeah, this guy's in my good books. This bodyguard seems pretty chill.
And remind me, sir, where you went to law school?
Columbia.
Based.
Did you receive your JD from Columbia?
I did.
In what year was that?
1998.
Having received a JD from Columbia, I take it you know what a statute of limitations is. Is that correct?
Correct.
After receiving your JD from Columbia, what did you do in terms of your professional life?
I worked at Free Frank Harris Shriver and Jacobson for about 4 years, 3.5, 4 years. I was in their tax department. And after that, I went to work at Patterson Belknap. And I was also in the tax department there, but worked on
I don't think I care about where he...
Until about 2005?
That's exactly.
Also, I'll try and work on getting some custom emotes. I just did the affiliate today, and I was thinking of asking my niece, who's really artistically talented, to make something. And she's asking me tough questions like, what's your style? And what's your color palette? And I'm like, I have no idea. So I'm going to try to figure that out with her as soon as possible. And then you have some like sweet custom emotes. Yeah, I'm really bad at visual arts. It's like the one thing I'm pretty weak at, that like of all I'm really good at like doing a bunch of different things, but that's the one area I'm just like, oh god, no. How do you make things look good in circles and triangles? Like, oh god.
Right.
But we got to figure out like what are the top 5 like emotes, like Keckle maybe, or like Be Weird L for love. Weird L. It should be like Weird L or something like that. It's easy to type. Weird L. You know, there's gonna be like 5 really solid emotes.
Did there come a time you left Patterson-Belknap to work for the ACLU Foundation?
Correct.
At the time you left, was the ACLU a client of Patterson-Belknap?
Yes.
And it continues to be a client until the present day, correct?
Correct.
Was there any time between 2005 and today where Patterson-Belknap ceased to be a client of the ACLU?
No.
This looks like it's a recording. Yeah, December 2nd, 2021. So they took this a while ago.
You mean where the ACLU ceased to be a client of Patterson, right?
Yes, thank you for that correction.
Yeah, no, we've been a client the whole time. Not always with active matters, of course, but a client the whole time.
In what capacity did you start at the ACLU Foundation in 2005?
I was the ACLU's first in-house lawyer. My title was Senior Corporate Counsel.
What were your responsibilities generally when you began as Senior Corporate Counsel at the ACLU Foundation?
My role was to serve as the organization's in-house lawyer and to assess what the needs were for an in-house counsel department or practice at the ACLU.
And I take it you have continued to work as a lawyer at the ACLU on an uninterrupted basis from 2005 to the current day?
Correct. My title changed relatively soon after 2005. In either 2006 or early 2007, my title was changed to General Counsel.
Okay.
Is that still your title today?
I knew this was
It's
going to
part
be
of my title.
Oh my God.
Drew Romero, the
Intermediary between the two of you, correct?
direct report.
Sitting here today, do you know how much money
Camera angle.
Ms. Hurd has actually donated to the ACLU, actually remitted to the ACLU?
Oh, wait, this is interesting.
Yes, I do.
How much is that?
So when you say remitted, do you mean direct payments from her personally, or do you mean payments on her behalf, or payments, from a donor advised fund that she might have set up, or
We can break it down. Let's.
Yeah, this is the part I think that's going to get really juicy. From what I was learning, like this morning, she's done some, let's say, suspicious things, some sussy stuff with all these donations.
First, from how much has Ms. Hurd paid directly to the ACLU?
That would be $350,000 paid directly.
Okay.
How much has been paid indirectly and credited to Ms. Hurd?
There was $100,000, which was a check from Johnny Depp. There was a $500,000 payment from a donor advised fund at Vanguard. And then there was a $350,000 payment that appears to be from a donor advised fund at Fidelity.
Okay.
Making it total $1.2 million.
And when you speak of credited toward Amber Heard, to what are you referring?
Wait, what?
So, and I think I might have done the math wrong. Let me just do the math in my head. It's 700, 800 plus the 5. I think 1.3 is the amount. We received a check from for the $100,000 payment. We received a check from Johnny Depp's representatives, and it was said to be a payment in connection with on behalf of Amber Heard. She confirmed that.
Okay.
The $500,000 payment from Vanguard Charitable, she confirmed was a payment on her behalf, and the $350,000 payment as well.
When you say credited toward her, what does that mean?
Well, she had, when we initially had contact with Amber Heard in 2016, she indicated her desire to pay $3.5 million to the ACLU, and that was, and these were amounts that were in relation to that, her having expressed that that's what she wanted to pay to the ACLU.
So it's fair to say that she has not donated $3.5 million as of today to the ACLU, true?
Oh, shit.
When you say that Mr. Depp, our client, donated $100,000 to be credited toward Amber Heard, did the ACLU in fact credit that $100,000 toward the $3.5 million Ms. Heard promised to donate to the ACLU?
We do credit it.
Did Ms. Heard direct you to credit it to her account, as it were?
We asked Ms. Heard if we should credit it, and she said that we should.
With what person or entity?
Wait, so if I understand correctly, it sounds like Amber Heard was like, yeah, I will take this money and donate to the ACLU, and then she just didn't?
Is Vanguard charitable associated?
So Vanguard
Person or entity?
And she said that we should.
Right.
With what person or entity is Vanguard charitable associated?
So Vanguard Charitable is a nonprofit that Vanguard, the financial institution, has set up that...
Now, Vanguard is like BlackRock. It's like massive. It's like a huge vulture capital. Yeah, this is stinky. This is very... stinky. This is not looking good.
Provides for a wide variety of donor-advised funds for individuals to use for their charitable giving.
Okay.
So there are thousands of Vanguard charitable donor-advised funds. If you were asking specifically about the one that we received the $500,000 contribution from, we believe that that is a donor-advised fund that was set up by Elon Musk.
Who is Elon Musk?
He's a tech entrepreneur.
Why
And
Elon
is he
Musk?
also a donor to the ACLU Foundation in his own right?
Yes.
But it's your testimony that as to the $500,000 that came from Vanguard Charitable, that was associated with Elon Musk, correct?
We believe so, but it is not conclusive.
Did the ACLU have any communications with Elon Musk about the $500,000 contribution?
Yes.
And please describe those communications.
There is a document that we produced that
Elon?
Elon Musk emails Anthony Romero regarding the $500,000 contribution.
Elon, from the sparkling region of France.
What did Ms. Heard tell Mr. Romero or the ACLU about her donation and how much she was going to contribute?
There were communications back and forth between the ACLU and Ms. Heard, including a thank you acknowledgement letter that was sent under Mr. Romero's name to Ms. Heard, thanking her for the $350,000 contribution, noting that it was part of her intention to make a $3.5 million contribution to the ACLU, and Mr. Romero attached to that communication a standard ACLU pledge form and so that was the communication.
Oh my god. Stop. She's like, yeah, guys, you about to get $3.5 million. Can you believe it?
Very early on, that her intention to contribute the $3.5 million to us was half of her $7 million divorce proceedings.
Okay.
I don't recall which specific communication with us gave us that knowledge.
What, if any, understanding did the ACLU have prior to the publication of the op-ed about Ms. Heard's plans to dispose of the other half of the $7 million settlement, or the other $3.5 million?
Right.
Yes, we understood that the other $3.5 million, the other half, was going to a children's hospital in Los Angeles.
When did the first donation?
This is like, if you ever want to find out how honest or how much integrity someone has, talk to their accountants and lawyers. Like, that's where the bodies are buried. Holy shit, this is shocking.
The $350,000 from Ms. Heard actually arrived at the ACLU?
It was very soon after the communication between Elon Musk and Anthony, and I believe that it was that communication was in August of 2016, and it was shortly thereafter.
Please describe your conversations with Ms. Weitz.
I gotta change the title of this. This is crazy.
I asked Ms. Weitz whether it was her decision to ask Ms. Heard to be an ACLU ambassador, and she indicated that it was. I asked Ms. Weitz to describe what are the criteria for, sorry, a calendar thing popped up. What are the criteria for asking for becoming an ACLU ambassador? And what were the reasons why she thought that Ms. Heard would be an appropriate ACLU ambassador?
How did Ms. Weitz respond?
She said that
Okay, that's better.
ACLU ambassadors are people who are artists or influencers that are aligned with one or two ACLU policy issues.
Okay.
And the criteria
Guy talks so
for
slow.
determining whether somebody can be an ambassador is that they have prior expertise in that policy area,
Okay.
that they can speak in detail about the area, that they are aligned with the ACLU's policy views of the area, and that they have significant following so that their communications to the public that we support reach a wide variety of people.
Of those criteria, which did Ms. Whites identify as the most important, if any?
I don't think there's any that she did not identify any as the most important.
What, if anything, did Ms. Whites tell you about Ms. Heard's expertise in women's rights?
Ms. White said that she had arranged a meeting between Ms. Heard and representatives of our Women's Rights Project and our Reproductive Freedom Project.
Okay.
And Ms. Heard spoke with such clarity and expertise on issues of gender-based violence that she decided that she would be an appropriate person to ask to become an ACLU ambassador, and she did so.
What, if anything, did
All right,
Ms.
I see.
Whites tell you about Ms. Heard's significant following?
Like online following? Clout?
Ms. Heard, Ms. Whites said that she looked at Ms. Heard's social media.
Yeah, her clout. Did you discuss Miss Heard's clout and her role as an influencer?
Anything else?
No, not that she said to me.
All right, let's look to topic 6.
I mean, there's literally a subreddit called Perfect Amber Heard. So I think, yeah, she's got like a whole community that simps for her.
What, if anything, did you do to prepare to testify about your role, the ACLU's role in the conception, preparation, drafting, or publication of the op-ed?
I reviewed the documents that we produced. I had 3 meetings with our lawyers. I spoke with Ms. Whites and Mr. Romero.
Please describe your discussions with Ms. Whites.
I asked Ms. Whites
Why is it
whether
nothing?
she was involved.
The Me Poo hashtag? Stop. No. No. So stupid. That's so stupid. I think there's actually some testimony from the bodyguard that will come up later today in this recording. We get to it, where he says it's like some sort of terrible. He thinks it's a practical joke gone wrong. So I'm curious how that goes. But I don't know. I don't like that development because if the Me Poo movement becomes really popular, then what replaces the pussy hats? Is there going to be a giant protest? People wearing turds on their head? Like what? Like what is this?
And what her involvement was with respect to the conception.
Man, this guy was probably in those protests. He fucking was so close to bell hooks. He was probably right there wearing a pussy hat.
Drafting and our publication of the op-ed, and she indicated that because of her role as our director of artistic engagement, she was involved in all aspects of the conception, preparation, drafting, and publication, and that
it's a weird mixture. It's an odd mixture, that's for sure.
The other members of the communications department who worked on this, even though they didn't necessarily report to her in terms of our hierarchy, they reported to her in terms of this specific task. She was the person who was the director of this project.
The principal.
Did Ms. Whites tell you that she participated in the drafting of the op-ed?
She was in. Yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
Other than Ms. Whites, were there any other lawyers at the ACLU involved in the drafting of the op-ed?
Ms. Whites is not a lawyer, so were there lawyers involved in the drafting of the op-ed? I believe it was the drafting of the op-ed was all done within the communications department.
Okay. So
What is
like
Ms.
a
White's
PR.
academic background?
Right. Okay, I see the point.
I don't know her.
It sounds like Miss White was the representative from the ACLU, which was sort of coordinating over this donation and also the op-ed.
Academic background.
Was any ACLU lawyer, and I mean in-house lawyer, involved in the drafting of the op-ed?
I believe the answer is yes. I believe that there are documents that support back and forth between support for the op-ed, but I don't recall.
Sitting here today, do you know how many ACLU lawyers were involved in the drafting of the op-ed?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Were there any ACLU lawyers involved in the reviewing of the op-ed before it was submitted to the Washington Post?
Yes, there were.
How many?
I think I might put a bit of background music if that's okay. This is a bit dry.
I think there were 4.
Were you one of the 4?
No, I was not one of the 4. And to be clear, when what I was referring to were people in our legal department who are experts on women's rights issues. There was nobody from neither I nor anybody on my in-house counsel team was involved in the drafting of the op-ed or the review of the op-ed.
So why not?
We were not involved. We were not brought into the loop. I don't know why.
Is it fair to say that the ACLU didn't think there were any potential legal implications to the ACLU involved in the publication of the op-ed?
I have not spoken with any of the lawyers in the legal department about whether they thought it would be necessary to involve any member of my in-house counsel team in the review of the op-ed.
Who were the 4
that's better.
attorneys in-house at the ACLU who were involved in reviewing the op-ed before it was submitted to the Washington Post?
Okay, so I was referring to people in the legal department, not the in-house counsel's office, the legal department who do our work, our civil liberties litigation.
Slightly confusing. Man, you gotta leave it to lawyers to make it as confusing as possible. Well, this person was in the legal in-house counsel department, but technically wasn't a lawyer. So let me just clarify here for a second.
And advising on legal issues related to civil liberties. And I believe that the op-ed before was reviewed by Lenora Lapidus, David Cole, I believe Louise Melling was involved, and there may have also been a fellow that was involved in reviewing it. These are all
a fella?
There are a number of back and forth emails that we produced that will indicate specifically who those people were.
Okay, let's move to Exhibit 2, please. Research and life.
Okay, there we go. The Nintendo music will make this more bearable.
I've seen this document. Mr. Doherty, have you ever seen this document before?
Yes.
What is it?
These are conversations within the ACLU Communications Department about Ms. Hurd donations to the ACLU and the possible engagement of that issue as a communications matter for the ACLU.
Mr. Doherty, if we could start in the email.
It's about her, like, saying, hey, I might want to donate some money. Okay.
In the middle of the first page of Exhibit 2.
The middle of the first page. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Who is Stacy Sullivan?
Stacy Sullivan was a senior person in our communications department.
Is she still at the ACLU?
No.
When did she leave?
So some old employee, who cares?
I don't recall the date.
Who is Stephen Smith?
Stephen Smith, at the time, was our Associate Director for Strategic Communications. Now he is the Deputy Communications Director.
Okay.
And I believe you testified earlier that Mr. Romero first came to learn about this through Elon Musk. Is that right?
Correct.
Tell us exactly who ACLU Media is. You said it's
an email account that is monitored by members of the communications staff so that when media inquiries come in, rather than them going to a specific individual in the communications department who could be working on something else or on leave, it goes to a central email account that is then monitored and
distributed.
And emails within it are directed to the appropriate people.
Who's Sandra?
I assume that is Sandra Park, who is a lawyer in our women's rights project.
Was Ms. Park involved in the op-ed?
So wait, she sent an email to like the ACLU to set up this donation and was primarily working with people who champion women's rights so that it can all like go out as like a package. Like this op-ed goes out and also this donation, like, oh, here, you know, ACLU defends, you know, let's say reproductive freedoms, reproductive rights. Is that what's going on here? Like Amber Heard was developing a media package?
In any way, either reviewing or approving?
I believe she was.
And that coverage is good for the ACLU, correct?
Yes.
And the press coverage, among other things, enabled the ACLU to promote its work helping victims of domestic violence.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, there it is.
Correct.
Specifically, how does the ACLU record donations?
It was good PR.
We record donations in our donor database. It's referred in the trade as a CRM, a constituent record management system. And at this time, our CRM was a company called PIDI. At this point, our CRM is with Salesforce.
It's like so hard to focus on this guy. His eyes are totally blacked out. It's kind of scary. It's a little freakish.
Is there anyone at the ACLU who interacts or who interacted with PIDI?
There are many members of our development department that interacted with PIDI with respect to the functioning support of that system and the vendor relationship. And I'm not sure if you're asking this, but then there are a number of people in the development department who can input donor information into this database. I don't see them as having interaction with PIDI, but it's with our database.
What type of information is input?
It's very broad. The names, address, contact information, donations, prior history with donations, issues that they are particularly interested in. It also differs depending on the nature of the donor. If somebody gives a $50 annual donation, that is recorded. If somebody is a $3 million a year donor to the ACLU, a different level of information is reported in the system.
If someone makes a donation on behalf of another person or to be credited to another person, how is that reported by the ACLU?
It is reported as such, as relating to. But there's many different ways that somebody could give on behalf of somebody else. People can make a gift in honor of somebody else. People can make a gift in order to fulfill someone else's pledge. People can make a gift. Sure. A donor may help bring another donor to the ACLU. All of that information is recorded in our systems.
Can a donor earmark his or her donation for a particular purpose?
Absolutely.
So I think that's what they might be getting to.
After Ms. Hurd announced her donation to the ACLU, what specifically did the ACLU do to document that donation?
Yeah, like it's probably all going to build up to Amber Heard gave a donation with, domestic abuse earmarked as like the topic, like the memo for, protecting women.
Well, we sent out a note to Amber thanking her for the...
And it's interesting because if that's the play, then it is almost like Amber Heard is trading on ACLU's reputation in order to bolster her side of the case before... like just in the court of public opinion. And so Johnny's had to sort of drag her to a real court and be like, no.
Donation. That is likely the contribution acknowledgement letter that Mimi is referring to. And that information was kept in our files. And the information regarding Ms. Heard was recorded in our Salesforce, or at the time, PIDI database.
At the time the ACLU sent Ms. Heard the acknowledgement letter, was it the ACLU's expectation that the $3.5 million would be paid by Ms. Heard all at once in a lump sum?
No, I do not believe it was. I believe that we believed that it would, based on the Elon Musk email, we thought that it was intended to be over a 10-year period, although that was never specifically confirmed.
Well, that's interesting. What email are you referring to?
I believe that the first email from Elon Musk to Anthony Romero said that it was over a 10-year period.
Anything else to make the ACLU believe that Ms. Heard was not paying the money right away out of her divorce settlement with Mr. Depp?
Anthony, in his communications with Ms. Heard, referred to the amount as a pledge, and a pledge is generally, what a pledge means is that the amount is not necessarily paid all at once. It's pledged to the organization. Rather than just sending a check, there's some kind of varying levels of commitment made to give amounts over a period of time, which is, useful for the charity to know so that it can make future projections as to income.
So she made a pledge, and this guy's basically saying in court, like, yeah, but we never really got it. I hate to say it, but we never really got the money.
Mr. Doherty, who, if anyone at the ACLU, was assigned to handle or track Ms. Heard's donation?
That would have been two different people, depending on what you mean by track. There is a person in our leadership gifts department, which is the department that deals with high-level donors. His name is John Moresco, and his role is to, in addition to facilitating, maintaining the relationship with those donors, is to oversee the back and forth with those donors for annual giving. So in this case, that would include Ms. Heard's gifts to the ACLU. And then there's a second group within the development department that is the team that maintains the overall donor database, the then PIDI, now Salesforce database.
Okay, was Exhibit 9 prepared in the ordinary course of the ACLU's business?
It's not back up on the screen yet.
Yeah, this sounds kind of dirty.
Yes, it was.
Is it maintained in the ordinary course of the ACLU's business?
Yes.
Were these emails, to your knowledge, prepared contemporaneously with people having knowledge of contents?
Correct.
Okay, if we could please move ahead to Exhibit 11.
Okay, moving on.
Stand by.
Thank you for reaching out. No longer with Pierce. Have a call. The press could potentially spin the fact that this is an installment and not the entire lump sum. Wait.
Okay, I see it.
Mr. Doherty, you've ever seen this document before?
I have.
Is this
Okay, here we go. Yeah, dear Amber, thank you for your wonderful gift of $350,000 to the ACLU, the first installment of your very generous pledge of $3.5 million. Okay, thank you. That one sentence just clarifies what the past 30 minutes have been about. Yeah, I am honored by your vote of confidence in our work, especially our efforts on behalf of domestic violence victims. So there it is. That is... sorry, I'm covering it up, but there's the full document. Interesting.
one of the documents that you reviewed in preparation for your deposition today?
Yes.
Was this prepared in the ordinary course of the ACLU's business?
Yes.
Was it maintained in the ordinary course of the ACLU's business?
Yes.
Was it prepared by Mr. Romero contemporaneously on or about September 19th, 2016?
It was prepared by someone in our development department who I believe to be Mimi Clara, but yes, to the rest of your
Does Romero have knowledge of the contents of this letter that he signed?
Yes.
So he states to Ms. Hurd, thank you for your wonderful gift of $350,000 to the ACLU, the first installment of your very generous pledge of $3.5 million. You see that?
Yes.
So as of
that's
10%. Ms. Hurd had actually donated only
She gave 10% and was like, all right, I'm done.
$350,000, correct?
Correct.
Now, if you would please turn to the next page. I believe you referred to this before, but if you could just clear it up for the record. Have you ever seen this page before? And it's called Pledge Form, page number ACLU 3033.
Right.
Yes, I have.
Yo, you do not want to sign a pledge form to the ACLU and then renege on it. They're lawyers. You think they don't have like your signature and everything exactly on a piece of paper and they will show up to court? Like, come on.
What is it?
This is a document that is used, well, the generic document is one that is used regularly by the development department. This one in particular is branded in connection with our 100th year anniversary, but that's just a branding thing. What the form is a form for people who are making pledges to the ACLU to document that that promise in a form like this. When a form like this is filled out, we see that as that documents the full amount that they intend to contribute and the time period over which those gifts are going to be made.
And is it your understanding, sir, that this pledge form and the two documents after it, ACLU 3034 and 3035, were in fact attached to the letter Mr. Romero sent Ms. Hurd on September 9, 2016?
Yes.
And who prepared this ACLU 3033, the pledge form?
I believe that, well, it was somebody in our development department. I don't know whether it was Mimi Clara or John Rusko or someone else, but it was somebody who was preparing it in connection with the preparation of the tax acknowledgement letter.
There's a reference on top of the pledge form, Amber Hurd, Carol Pierce O'Donnell, Greenberg, Lusker, and then there's some other names. Do you know what the firm Greenberg Lusker had to do with Amber Hurd?
Good question.
No. Okay. You have no idea why it was sent to Ms. Hurd, care of Mr. O'Donnell at Greenberg Lusker.
I expect that it is the case that many of our significant donors have representatives that we work directly with on.
The part I'm focused on is this pledge is to be focused over a period of 10 years, and it started off in 2016. 3.5 mil, and she donated 350,000. Did what happened to the rest?
Technical things such as a pledge form.
Okay, and directing your attention to the next page that was attached to Mr. Romero's letter, it also says pledge form, but it has some
there it is. Yeah.
Columns.
Yes.
Is it fair to say that this is a proposed schedule for payment of the remaining $3.5 million donation?
That is what it is.
Stinky.
And you know that who came up with this proposed schedule?
I don't know who prepared this form and don't know who told the person who prepared this form to do the gift payment schedule in this way.
Right.
Do you see at the bottom of that page, ACLU 3034, part of Exhibit 11, that there is a signature line?
Correct. Yes, I do.
Did Ms. Heard ever sign this pledge schedule?
Oh.
No.
Oh.
Did anyone at Greenberg Glusker or anyone else on behalf of Ms. Heard ever sign this form?
No.
Why not?
I don't know the answer.
Wait, what?
Did Ms. Heard ever agree to any schedule for the payment of her $3.5 million donation?
There are documents that we produced that point to Ms. Heard being aware of this as a multi-year commitment, including the Elon Musk email to Anthony and back and forth between Anthony and Amber on an annual basis about her about this gift.
My question was actually a simple one. Did Ms. Heard ever agree to any schedule for the payment of the remainder of the $3.5 million donation?
I don't recall her having seen anything where she agreed to a 10-year schedule.
So he's saying, like, based on communications, she was aware that this would be paid over time, but she never agreed to any particular schedule. She didn't sign any document saying, like, yeah, once a year I give 10% of the full amount.
Like this.
Let's go now, please, back to Exhibit 10.
Sir, stand by.
So already pretty spicy. I'm not gonna lie. I know this guy's super dry, but he's dropping bombshells.
Okay.
It is pretty damning, just from the outset, that she seems to have courted the ACLU into helping her create this image of a domestic abuse survivor, and then stinged them on the other 90% of the full amount of the donation, which apparently was coming from Johnny Depp, and Elon Musk was somehow involved. Like, what is happening?
Mr. Doherty, have you ever seen this exhibit, Exhibit 10, before?
I have.
What is it?
This is an email exchange that includes Anthony Romero, our Director of Development, Mark Weir, the Executive Director of our Southern California affiliate, which encompasses LA, and me, regarding the check that we received from Johnny Depp's representatives in the amount of $100,000.
Was Exhibit 10 prepared in the ordinary course of the ACLU's business?
Yes.
Was it maintained by the ACLU in the ordinary course of its business?
Yes.
Were these emails prepared contemporaneously by people having knowledge of the content?
Yes.
Okay, let's move, please, to the second page of the exhibit.
Seems above board.
The email from Hector Villagra to Anthony Romero, dated August 25, 2016 at 12:44 p.m. Do you see that?
12.
At the bottom of this page.
Oh, the bottom of this page? Yeah. Okay, sorry. Yep, 12:44. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Is Anthony Romero?
Yes.
And who is Hector Villagra?
Hector is the Executive Director of the ACLU of Southern California.
Okay. So kind of important.
And you see where he informs Mr. Romero the actual check is for Mr. Depp, care of his CPA, and handwritten on the check, it says donation being made in the name of Amber Heard. So I think you testified that the ACLU, in fact, received a $100,000 check from Johnny Depp, correct?
Correct.
And do you know why Mr. Depp asked that it be credited to the name of Amber Heard?
No, I don't.
That's a good question.
Mr. Villagra tells Mr. Romero that he has been designated, or that he has been the point person. What does that mean?
Hold on, let me just find that.
Point person
It's at the
is
very end of the exhibit on the next
usually
page.
the person just handling the matters for a team, just the person like doing the communications and like being the person on point. That's pretty common
Oh, okay.
phrase.
My staff let me know that you have been the point person. Yes, Hector is saying that Anthony was the main person with the relationship with Amber as a donor.
And why was Mr. Romero the point person?
Mr. Romero is our one of our most significant fundraisers at the organization, and he has a specific portfolio of donors that he and his team, such as John Moresco, support.
And do you see, going back to the second page of the exhibit, Mr. Romero's response to Mr. Villagra, copied to Mark Weir that same day, or strike that on August 25th? Do you see that?
I do.
So it sounded like Johnny Depp gave $100K, but care of Amber Heard to like contribute to the cause of what? Being a survivor of domestic abuse? No. That can't be the story, is it?
Now let's move back to the first page. And do you see the email from Mark Weiler to Hector Villagra, copied to Mimi Clara, on or about August 25th at 11:12 a.m.?
Yes.
So he says, just spoke with Anthony, who got off, strike that, just spoke with Anthony, who just got off the phone with Elon Musk. And Anthony refers to Anthony Romero, correct?
Correct.
Why was Mr. Romero discussing the herd donation with Elon Musk?
My understanding is that Anthony reached out to Elon Musk because he had a prior relationship with Elon Musk, and Elon Musk was the person who first contacted Anthony about the donation, about a donation from Amber.
Okay,
And
so
wasn't Mr. Romero specifically asking him about Mr. Depp's donation of $100,000?
That's how I read this email, yes.
And if you look down, just below that, the email from Mr. Villagra to Mark Weir, and he says, got it, we will hold the check. That's a reference to the ACLU's holding the check from Johnny Depp, correct?
That's how I read this.
Okay, so now moving back up
Holding
to that
the
email
check.
from Mr. Weiler to Mr. Villagra, copied to Mimi Clara. He says, we're going to draft an email from Anthony to Amber explaining the situation and asking for her advice. What does he mean there?
I take that to mean that we wanted to hear from Amber regarding whether this gift was attributable to the amounts that she wanted to contribute to the ACLU.
Okay.
Did the ACLU, in fact, reach out to Ms. Heard about Mr. Depp's $100,000 donation?
Yes, there are documents that we produced that show a back and forth on that point
Okay.
between Anthony and Ms. Heard.
And Mr. Weiler, or Mr. Weir writes, I'll keep you in the loop, but definitely hold the check until we get clearance from Amber. Why would the ACLU need clearance from Amber Heard before it accepted a $100,000 donation from Johnny Depp?
Good question.
My understanding of this is that
This is very
would
strange.
that we wanted to know whether this, before we cashed this check, whether it was in relation to the Amber Heard desire to contribute to the ACLU as opposed to a separate desire by Johnny Depp to contribute to us individually. And in fact, the communication from Johnny Depp's representative said that it was in connection with Amber Heard, so we wanted to clarify what was going on.
Okay.
So
So Johnny Depp donates the 100K. He says, yo, this is on behalf of Amber Heard. And they put a hold on it because they're like, oh, wait, let's just, sounds like that makes sense, but let's just check with Amber Heard. I think that's what I'm understanding.
The email directly above that from Hector Villagra to Mark Weir. He says, we have more folks than I knew who followed TMZ. Here's our latest report. Amber Heard calls BS on Johnny's charity donation. Now you owe double. What's that a reference to?
I don't really know specifically, other than to say that this is more indication that we were unclear of whether the Johnny Depp gift would count toward the amounts that Amber said she wanted to contribute to the ACLU.
And then directing your attention to the top email in Exhibit 10, Mr. Weir responds, she's calling Johnny out on the $14 million in the press. What does that refer to?
Wait, what?
Don't know. I don't know. I'm not aware of how 14 million plays into any of this.
Any of this? Yeah,
Okay,
because
let's move
wasn't the settlement for 7 million? Wasn't the divorce settlement 7 million?
Head to Exhibit 12, please. Mr. Doherty, have you ever seen this document before?
Just making it larger. Yes, I have.
And what is it?
What is happening?
This is Amber confirming that we can cash Mr. Depp's check.
But there's this odd line. I am so sorry for the delay in this matter. They were highly unusual circumstances, and I sincerely appreciate all of your patience and grace in helping facilitate through them. Anyway, just letting you know you can cash the check. Thank you for keeping me updated. Huh. Curious.
And did Ms. Heard, in fact, send this to Mr. Romero on or about October 17th, 2016?
Yes.
And is this a document that was created
Subject. Check time.
was maintained in the ordinary course of the ACLU's business?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's true that the ACLU ultimately deposited Mr. Depp's check for $100,000, correct?
Correct.
Did the ACLU credit the $100,000 paid by Mr. Depp toward Ms. Heard's $3.5 million pledge or donation?
Good question.
We do credit that $100,000 amount toward the
3.5.
toward Amber Heard's charitable giving to the ACLU.
Where, if at all, is that credit reflected in the ACLU's records?
There are documents that we produced that show the fact that this was considered part of Amber Heard's charitable giving to the ACLU.
Okay, so she's sitting at $450,000 out of the total 3.5 million. That's intense.
The ACLU received Ms. Heard's initial $350,000 payment. It received press inquiries about the Heard donation, correct?
Correct.
How many?
Oh, I don't know the specific number, sorry.
Was this document, Exhibit 20, maintained in the ordinary course of the ACLU's business?
Yes.
Was it prepared in the ordinary course of the ACLU's business contemporaneously by people having knowledge of the contents?
Yes.
On what date was Ms. Heard appointed an ACLU ambassador?
It was in October of 2018.
Okay, let's move ahead.
Whoa, they made her an ambassador. Oh, he skipped on that.
Please to Exhibit 22. Did the ACLU ever issue a press release regarding the Vanguard $500,000 contribution?
I don't believe we ever issued a press release in 2017 regarding Amber Heard's donations to the ACLU.
Oh, really?
Why not?
That's interesting.
We received an email from Amber that is in the documents that says that we don't need to do this. We shouldn't do this this press release.
Well, let's go to 24, please.
Stand by.
Standing by. Skip ahead.
Exhibit 20.
Okay, here we go.
Mr. Daugherty, have you ever seen this document, Exhibit 24, before?
Yes.
What is it?
This is Anthony in his email to the one we just saw said that his comms people were going to be reaching out to Amber's people. And so Steve then starts that process. And Amber then, Amber responds and says that she's no longer working with Pierce and introduces Steve to her new lawyer, Eric George. And she indicates
Wait.
that she has a concern about issuing a press statement.
She has concern about issuing a press statement. What she wrote was, their concern is that the press could potentially spin the fact that this is an installment and not the entire lump sum, as you well know, isn't possible due to the structure of the settlement agreement against me in some way. So she's already worried that there's going to be like a media story about her not giving the full amount, but she didn't in the end.
She indicates
Interesting.
Is this document maintained in the ordinary course of the ACLU's business?
Yes.
Was it prepared in the ordinary course of the ACLU's business?
Yes.
And was it prepared contemporaneously by people having knowledge of its contents?
Okay.
Yes.
So those are like three questions that sort of like lawyers ask to confirm, you know, this or that, you know, like confirm that you can validate the document.
I'd like to direct your attention to the email at the top of the page.
What's that noise?
You see the email at the top of the page from Ms. Heard to Jody Gottlieb and others dated July 6, 2017?
I do.
Gottlieb.
Have you ever seen this document before?
Yes.
What is it?
This is Amber letting Steve know that she's no longer working with Pierce, but instead working with a new lawyer, and indicating to Steve that she is going to be talking with her PR team about whether about issuing a press statement about her 2017 issuing a press statement about her 2017 gift.
Right.
And directing your attention, she writes, their concern is that the press could potentially spin the fact that this is an installment and not the entire lump sum, as you well know, isn't possible due to the structure of the settlement agreement. The settlement agreement is a reference to the settlement agreement between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard of their divorce, correct?
I read that to reference to the settlement agreement to be the settlement agreement between Heard and Depp, but I don't have any independent knowledge of that.
What was the basis of your belief that she was going to pay you every year?
The original communications and her response to us when we reached out to her, and she indicated, you know, on a number of occasions that this was something that she was going to be looking into.
But
Sounds like they just took it on faith.
Didn't do it, did she?
What we did receive was the $500,000 Vanguard charitable contribution.
Wow.
And then the next year, the $350,000 contribution.
She didn't pay
So she's almost at $1 million with Johnny Depp's contribution as well.
you on an annual basis, did she?
Yes, we didn't receive any amounts in 2019 and on.
Let's move up to the middle email.
Wow. Oh my goodness. So she skipped from 2019 and on. She's like, oh yeah, I'm not paying the ACLU anymore. I got what I needed.
Page.
Yikes. That's massive. That's massive. I know we had to like go through almost an hour of extremely dry lawyer with like his eyes covered and everything. But yeah, this is crazy. She didn't pay like 2 mil. 2.5 mil. Wild.
Mr. Weir to Steve Smith. Thanks, Steve. Her gift is technically unrestricted, but it is weighted towards women's rights issues. What does that mean?
What that means is that there's a particular type of gift that is legally restricted for a specific purpose, and that could be that the restriction could be done in a number of ways. That was not done in this situation, but nonetheless, the intention in making gifts to the ACLU was to support that work. So there's that subtle distinction, and this is not an uncommon one at the ACLU.
After the Vanguard payment of $500,000 in July 2017, what, if any, payments did Ms. Heard make to the ACLU?
There was one more payment of $350,000 that came from Fidelity Charitable, so it looked to be from a donor-advised fund at Fidelity.
And when was that donor-advised Fidelity payment made?
In 2018.
So that...
Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, we have a document that we produced that shows the contributions that we received from Fidelity Charitable and the timing for each of those. One of which includes includes the Amber Heard, 350.
Okay, if we could please move to Exhibit 39. Showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 39. Have you ever seen this document before?
Hold on, can we get the bait stamp number, please?
It is 3037, ACLU.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm directing your attention to the penultimate entry on that page.
Yes.
There appears to be a reference. Well, first of all, have you ever seen this document before?
I have.
And what is it?
This is a document that we created that lists the contributions made to the ACLU on a specific date, December 11, 2018, that came from the online at Fidelity Charitable account.
And is this document maintained in the ordinary course of the ACLU's business?
The information in this is maintained in the ordinary course of this business. We created this document in response to the discovery requests.
And does it truthfully and accurately reflect the donations made to the ACLU online on or about December 11th, 2018?
I believe that it does. It is a document that I believe our development department pulled information from Salesforce, our current CRM, into an Excel, and that's what this is.
So directing your attention to the penultimate entry on this page said $350,000 designation, donation from Amber Heard. Mm-hmm. What does that refer to?
What that refers to is that since the giving accounts are the names of the Fidelity Charitable Donor Advised Funds, which is the column in the right, this one is designated as anonymous, meaning that the person who set up the donor advised fund, in this case, I believe Amber, wanted it to be an anonymous donor advised fund. So that would be within her discretion to decide which gifts were that she recommended were her recommendations or not. And so
she was like a funnel for the donations and was choosing like how they got labeled.
We put into this special purpose category, we marked that this was a donation from Amber Heard, meaning a recommendation from her to make a contribution from her donor advised fund.
So this is an anonymous donation for someone in Amber Heard's name, correct?
It is anonymous to the, this is, when this donor advised fund was set up, it was determined that it would be, that the gifts would presumptively be anonymous unless she were to recommend, to state otherwise.
Okay, okay.
And did she ever state otherwise?
We believe that this was that she indicated that this was her $350,000 gift, and that's why we put into the column that this was a donation recommended by her from her donor advised fund.
The money did not come from her, correct?
The money went from her to her donor advised fund, and then she recommended that the funds be paid from Fidelity to us. So the amount that $350 we received did not come from her directly. It came from what we believe to be her donor advised fund at Fidelity that she set up.
What basis, other than Ms. Heard's telling you, does the ACLU have for the proposition that Ms. Heard paid the money to Fidelity before it came and was given to the ACLU?
What we have is what she told us, which is how donor advised funds that are anonymous work. The only thing that we legally needed to know was that this came from the Fidelity Charitable, and that's the kind of reporting that we would do on this. For example, if we were reporting on this gift in our tax filings or anything like that, we then, our donors who have donor advised funds, they then let us know that they made that recommendation, and we then credit it to them as being associated with their giving to us in our CRM.
Well, Mr. Doherty, I didn't ask you what the ACLU was legally required to do. I asked you what, if anything, the ACLU did to investigate whether, in fact, Ms. Heard provided the funds to Fidelity. And your answer is nothing, right?
But not like the job.
No, I don't believe there was anything else. I don't know what else we would have gotten.
Yeah, exactly.
So, just so the record is clear, the ACLU relied only on Ms. Heard, that she was the ultimate source of the Fidelity funds, correct?
Right.
Yes.
Because you've already testified that Ms. Heard was not the original source of the funds for the $500,000 Vanguard contribution, correct?
We received that $500,000 from Vanguard, their 501c3, not from any other person.
Right, but Vanguard was associated with Mr. Musk, true?
We believe that to be the case, yes.
Okay.
So after
Man, it's like Russian nesting dolls just trying to unscramble the egg here. Holy cow.
December 2018 donation, has Ms. Heard made any donations directly or indirectly to the ACLU?
No, those are the four.
That's the big spicy bit. That's the such a simple question, but her credibility.
Ms. Heard made any donations directly or indirectly to the ACLU?
No, those are the four contributions, the four that we've discussed.
Well, we're almost 3
not
years
good.
since her last contribution. What, if any,
3 years
efforts has the ACLU made to get Amber Heard to pay?
Right. She's delinquent.
We reached out to
all the men fighting for what actually came from her pocket. Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know.
To Ms. Heard starting in 2019 for the next installment of her giving, and we learned that she was having financial difficulties.
Well, let's
Financial difficulties from what exactly? I thought celebrities were rich.
let's unpack that. So, when in 2019 did the ACLU reach out to Ms. Heard about making her promised contributions?
I don't recall the date, but there is a document that we produced that was an email from Anthony to Amber about this in 2019.
Okay, let's move ahead to
Okay, I think I'm just gonna go to the
exhibit
washroom. Be right back.
67, please. Have you seen these documents, these attachments before?
But wait,
Yes, I've
before I
seen
do,
Okay, and we'll just
Before
go
I
through
do.
them one.
lawyer fees and no movie deals add up, especially when Johnny D isn't paying the tab. Yeah, I figured her movie deals dried up as well. But yeah, lawyer fees for sure, especially like the court battle in the UK. I wonder if like the 2 bottles of 1,000. I doubt she like kept that up. I feel like that was like a period. But I don't know. If you're an alcoholic like that, you know.
One by one, if you don't mind.
Be back.
If you look at Bates number 4673, it says $350,000, December 11th, 2018. What is that?
I believe this tracks with the Excel spreadsheet that we looked at just a few moments ago that talks about online giving through the Fidelity Charitable Fund. And whereas the prior one listed all of the December 11th, 2018 gifts, this one lists the $350,000 gift from the Amber's donor advised fund.
And moving to the next page, it says designation, donor from Amber Heard. Do you see that?
Yes.
What does designation mean?
So this was the column in Salesforce that allows us to include additional information about gifts, in particular whether they are restricted in a certain way. And so that's why the term designation is used. And here, I think we filled into that designation field the information that we knew to be the case, which was that this was a recommendation from Amber Heard's donor advised fund.
Okay, now if you move to the next page, 4675, there's just one word on that, and it's anonymous. Do you know what that means?
This corresponds to the column of that same spreadsheet that listed the names of the donor advised funds that individuals set up at Fidelity, and that the name of the Amber one was anonymous.
Now, when Ms. Heard made her direct payment, her first contribution of $350,000, that was not designated as anonymous, wasn't it? Was it?
That was not a gift from a donor advised fund, so there weren't those columns for us to fill out. It was just a gift to the ACLU. And I do believe that in Anthony's acknowledgement letter to that included the pledge form that wasn't signed, he included a question about anonymity and whether we could list her as a donor in our annual report. So that was our first connection with her. So, we weren't sure whether her giving would be anonymous or not.
Well, the first donation wasn't anonymous, correct?
No, because it was not anonymous. But what I'm saying here is that this is the name. I believe this is the name of her donor advised fund at Fidelity. And the first time she gave us a gift, I think it came right out of her own, banking accounts.
Right. And between the time Ms. Heard made her first donation of $350,000 directly, which is attributed directly to her, and the time this anonymous donation comes in, did anybody at the ACLU have any discussion with Ms. Heard as to whether she wanted anonymity?
Funny document.
I don't believe
It just literally says anonymous. Oh wow, okay, I missed that part.
did. I don't believe she did.
Okay, if you could move ahead, please, to page number 4678.
Yes.
Head a bit.
That Vanguard Charitable. So
Okay, here we
What
go.
is it?
this is the document that Vanguard Charitable, so Vanguard's 501c3 nonprofit, uses when someone makes a recommendation from a Vanguard Charitable Donor Advised Fund to give an amount to a charity. And they then send this letter saying that they, Vanguard, are giving this amount to the charity. And it describes whether, this is the document that would describe whether or not the donor wants to be anonymous or even wants to indicate to us who they are.
And this is the Vanguard contribution about which you testified earlier, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Let's move ahead, please, to 4679, which is the next page.
Yes.
And have you ever seen this document before?
I have.
And is this one of the documents that you reviewed in the context of preparing for this deposition?
Yes.
And directing your attention to the middle of the page, it says remark from Amber Heard. What does that signify?
Sorry, I'm counting the 3 seconds. This is a record of a wire into our accounts at JP Morgan Chase in the amount of $350,000 from Amber Heard's account.
Okay.
City National Bank.
And this was her first contribution, correct?
Yes, this is the 2016 August contribution.
Okay.
Okay, and if you could move ahead, please, to the next page, ACLU 4680. Have you ever seen this document before?
I have.
What is it?
This is the original email from Elon to Amber and Anthony describing her plan to donate to the ACLU over the next 10 years and her support for our work. And that she wasn't restricting the gift. She just had a preference about the use of the funds. Okay. And that Anthony would forward her the wiring instructions. And then he did so. And then the $350,000 was wired, as we saw in that last JP Morgan Chase ACLU bank account wire record. And so Anthony let Amber know that we received it.
Okay, so let's unpack that a little bit. So the email in the middle of the page was an email sent to Mr. Romero from Elon Musk on or about August 18th, 2016 at 1:14 p.m., correct?
Correct.
He says, Amber, I described your plan to donate $3.5 million to the ACLU over the next 10 years, as you very much believe in what they are doing. You see that?
Yes.
Why was Ms. Heard, or strike that, why was Mr. Musk representing this on behalf of Ms. Heard?
It's so strange that Musk is in. He's like, what is it? God, what's that character's name? He just shows up everywhere. The Tom Hanks character. Why am I blanking? But it just shows up in everything. The Forrest Gump. Elon Musk is the Forrest Gump of celebrity gossip. Like, what's going on?
Don't know the answer to that question, but assume it's because of Elon's prior relationship with Anthony and that he indicated, I will make that introduction for you.
Okay, he is representing that Ms. Heard's plan was to donate $3.5 million over the next 10 years. Is that correct?
Correct. That was her plan.
Did Ms. Heard ever say in words or substance that Mr. Musk was not correct and that wasn't her plan?
I do not believe she ever said that.
So she never refuted Mr. Musk's representation that she was going to pay the full $3.5 million, correct?
It isn't the case that she didn't object to that she was going to pay the 3.5. It's just that she didn't object that was her plan as of August 18th, 2016.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Doherty. Let's move to the next page, which is 4681.
Yes.
And you see at the top it says Salesforce screenshot. Would you remind us, please, what Salesforce
Forrest
is?
Musk.
Our current CRM, our constituent record management system, which is where we store all the information we have about our donors. We call it our donor database.
And I believe that we've seen a version of this in an email from Mr. Marino.
Run, Forrest.
Correct?
I do recall that this this is part of documents that we produced.
Okay, well, let's start.
I just can't quit you, Eileen, or whatever her name was.
Start
I
on the
can't
bottom
quit
up.
you.
Sure.
If you look at the bottom entry in the column, it's had the entry that has a close date 8/19/2016, completed $350,000. What does that mean?
That's a record of her $350,000 contribution to us.
And you see the
I feel like we're going in circles.
designation, the giving name pledge payment.
I do.
What does that refer to?
That this was in connection with her overall plan to make a contribution to us of $3.5 million.
Okay, now let's move up to the entry in the middle of the chart. It says Ms. Amber Heard's soft credit 2017.
Okay, I think this guy gets interviewed for so long. We're at an hour and a half. We're going to skip ahead to this one because I just think it's going to be more lively. Rather than a recording, we have actual humans in a room. I think we get the gist of it, though. I feel like we're going around in circles. She was the person who was coordinating a bunch of money that was being donated to the ACLU and just didn't seem to pay all. Just didn't seem to pay it all. You ain't got no legs, Mr. Okay, stop. I can't imagine how many times I've seen that movie.
All right.
So many
Thank you, ladies
times.
and gentlemen. Are you next witness?
Okay. Hopefully
Yes,
this is
Your
a
Honor,
bit spicy.
plaintiff calls Edward White.
Okay, thank you.
Edward White. I feel like we heard that name before. Edward White? Also, yeah, it's been about an hour. Oh man, it's already been an hour. Support the stream. Like it. I'm looking to get to 100 subscribers on YouTube because then I can start to make money from it, I think. So if you know anybody who's up early in the morning and likes politics and news, tell them about my channel. Thanks again to Loud Tyrant Youth for the subscribe. And I'm a Twitch affiliate now, everybody. I sold my soul and my brand for a penny on the dollar. Thanks so much, everybody. All right, and hopefully this is more spicy than a poblano pepper.
Afternoon, sir.
Counselor.
All right.
Will you state your name, full name for the record? Yes, Edward White.
It's kind of quiet.
Where do you reside? Los Angeles, California. How are you employed?
Many years ago, I founded Edward White & Company, Certified Public Accountants, and I am the managing and senior partner of the firm.
What is a certified public
Congratulations, I think.
A certified public accounting firm is authorized.
Well, I think I'm going to get my niece to make a bunch of new emotes. So that might be a nice little art project. Try to get her to design some little cute emotes. Some little Be Weird emotes. Be Weird Love and Be Weird Keckle or whatever.
By particular state, in my case, California, to audit financial information and to certify the statements related thereto.
What's the nature of the work that's done at Edward White & Company?
It's diversified. It includes providing tax and related compliance services. That is to do the
Yeah, this guy is definitely, his last name is White.
tax returns for the clients. That's both fiduciary, corporate, individual, as well as partnership work. We also are involved in providing financial statements for financial institutions and for governmental agencies. We, in addition to that, have a business management department and provide a wide variety of services in that capacity.
Cool.
Are you the Edward White of Edward White & Company?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I knew it. Called it.
Who do you employ?
We employ a very talented group of professionals that have really amazing credentials. They have graduate degrees from NYU and USC in business administration as well as taxation. Many of my colleagues have been with the firm for over 25 years, in one case for 30.
The smile, like the smirk? Yeah, that would be a good one. What would be the emote there? Because it's like the joke, the smile there is we're in on the secret, right? Like that's where I'm thinking. Like that's what that smile is about. It's like I'm like, whenever I do, like, this hat is a perfect example. You know, anyone who doesn't know who I am may think I'm sympathetic with the Freedom Convoy. But if you do know who I am, then you know I just love the culture, even if I disagree with it. And there's like little, that's what that smirk's about. So, but I don't know what that translates to as a, it's not a keckle, it's not a keck W. But which emote is it? You know, that's the hard part. Which, you know, what would you type?
I'm very proud to be associated with this group of people.
Who are your principal clients?
We represent approximately 100 high net worth individuals and the companies that they own and operate. In addition to that, we do work for governmental agencies such as the Department of Justice, the State of Alaska, the State of California, and the City of Long Beach.
I mean, maybe Papagi? I mean, Papagi's the wrong sentiment, I guess. But Papagi is like adorably cute, but also really dumb. Also like just super, super, super stupid. Maybe Papagi? B-word Papagi? I don't know.
What's your educational background?
I started my college career utilizing the GI Bill. I served 4 years in the Air Force and was fortunate enough to have that opportunity. My undergraduate degree was in business administration, and I have a master's degree in business administration from the University of Southern California.
Ooh, it could just be a Pepe meme. It could just be Pepe. I think I'm doing the Pepe smile. I hate to say it, but I think that's the Pepe smile I'm doing. Yeah. Maybe it's Be Weird Pepe. Pepe La.
My graduate degree at USC, I studied I took several tax classes, corporate, fiduciary, estate and gift, and subject matters such as that.
Do you have any other experience with education?
Yes, I was a former professor of accounting and taxation at California State University, located in Los Angeles, California.
What kind of work do you personally do?
The work I do is primarily transaction-oriented. Acquisitions of companies, dispositions, that is buying or selling a company, arranging financing with large financial institutions, consulting with clients where they feel it's appropriate for me to be involved, assisting my colleagues. As I mentioned to you, we have approximately 100 high net worth individual clients, and there's always something that I can contribute to.
Yeah, maybe Pepe La or Pepe Laugh. Maybe that makes more sense. What are these two? Try to like remix it with my colors.
Any certifications?
Yes, I'm certified in financial forensics by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants. I'm also a member of the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the California Society of Certified Public Accountants. And of course, I'm a certified public accountant.
What are financial forensics?
That's an attempt to ascertain not only the facts, but what transpired. as relates to financial activity. So you do a study based upon financial records. You then look at contracts. You look at other financial information in an attempt to, once again, not
This
only
is the guy. This is the guy you want to talk to. He does forensic finance. Oh no.
ascertain what the results were, or what caused the results.
Have you ever previously testified in court?
Yes, I've been accepted as an expert witness in both the California court and the federal courts, and I have testified in matters involving the Department of Justice and the FBI.
Okay. Do you serve on any boards, or have you served on any boards?
Objection, relevance, Your Honor. This witness is not being proffered as an expert in this case.
All right.
Wasn't
This is just a fact witness and not an expert witness.
Fact witness, and it goes to credibility.
I'll sustain the objection. I think we can move on.
Okay.
Do you know Mr. Depp?
Yes, I do.
How'd you come to know Mr. Depp?
I met him because he was introduced to me by a senior executive at the Bank of California, Richard Smith.
Do you work with Mr. Depp?
Yes, I do.
In what capacity?
We are his business management firm.
Okay.
How long have you served in that capacity?
By approximately 6 years.
What does
Like he shows up, you just start digging your own grave. Yeah, no, seriously, like this, he knows where the bodies are. You don't want a forensic accountant called to the stand against you. Like that's GG, rip.
that role involve?
Processing, managing his financial affairs. As you know, Mr. Depp is an amazing talent, internationally acclaimed for his work, but he relegated his financial activities to me and my colleagues, so we provide a wide variety of services for him.
Do you do this kind of work for other people?
Yes, we do. Numerous other clients.
When did you first become involved with Mr. Depp?
Approximately 6 years ago, after the introduction from Mr. Smith.
What was the nature of the work that you were to perform for him?
Initially, it was to perform a forensic study, evaluate his financial affairs, and to formulate recommendations on how he could manage his affairs in a more advantageous manner.
Okay.
After you conducted that analysis, what did you do?
I met with Mr. Depp, the purpose of which was to share with him the results of our findings and to make recommendations on how he could resolve the issues he was confronting.
When was that meeting?
That meeting was on April 21st, 2016.
Who called the meeting?
I did. I called the meeting because I felt it was appropriate to meet with Mr. Depp and to discuss his affairs and to provide him with opportunities and plans and strategies to resolve the issues he was confronting.
Sure.
Where was the meeting held?
It was held at his offices in Los Angeles, California.
Do you know approximately what time it began?
It began at approximately 7:30, and my recollection is there were 7 people in attendance, including Mr. Depp and myself.
Was alcohol served at the meeting?
Not to my recollection. I don't recall any alcohol being consumed.
Wait, what?
Did
How about
Mr. Depp stay for the entirety of the meeting?
Oh, yes. He was very interested in the contents. He asked very thoughtful questions. He was fully engaged and fully sensitive to the matters that we were discussing.
Nice.
Did there come a time when Mr. Depp didn't participate in the meeting?
No, he was very actively involved. He did excuse himself on 2 or 3 occasions. It was my understanding that he was going to contact Ms. Heard and attempt to respond to her concerns and also address the fact that this was an extremely important meeting and that involved his financial viability and that he felt it imperative to stay and address the issues I was discussing with him.
Wow.
When did the meeting conclude?
At approximately 9:30. So it went for approximately 2 hours.
Yikes.
At the conclusion of the meeting, what did you observe as to Mr. Depp?
That he was fully engaged once again. He thanked me profusely for not only addressing the problems, but he was excited about the fact there was a strategy and a plan to resolve the problems.
Right.
Did he appear impaired to you in any way?
No, to the contrary, I found him to be...
I'm sorry, there was an objection. What was the objection, sorry? Leading?
Just asked him for his observation as an impairment.
What do you want to ask? I'll sustain that objection, but you can ask another question.
Did you make any observations as to Mr. Depp's potential impairment?
It was readily apparent to me that he was actively involved in the conversation. He asked very thoughtful and prudent questions. He was genuinely interested, and once again, when he left, he thanked me profusely for not only addressing the issues, but formulating a strategy and plan to resolve them in a successful manner.
Yeah, it just sounds like he was a consummate professional. You know, he hires this firm, and they reach out, and he takes the meeting, and then like goes hard on it. Makes sense.
Did you play any role on Mr. Depp's behalf with respect to the dissolution of his marriage to Ms. Heard?
Yes, I was actively involved in negotiations of the separation and the marriage dissolve.
Wow,
What role did you play in those negotiations?
Well, in my capacity as his business manager, I understood his financial capacity and the tax implications associated with it. So I was actively involved in addressing those issues as they were forthcoming from counsel.
I never gave into the Depp hype, so I found it hilarious when I'm like, wow, did things like a respectable human. I know celebrities are people, it turns out. That's what's been such a fun ride, at least for me, about this, is just how hard, like the distance between the public image and the private image And now we finally get like a pretty good view of who these people are privately, and it's usually against their will, as it's being like pulled out of them in court through like other people testifying against like what they've said. And you're like, oh wow, Amber Heard's kind of a piece of shit. Oh my god, what is wrong with this person? What is she doing? And honestly, I didn't have very strong opinions either way. I'm like, oh, it could go either way. But the more I learn, the less I'm like, yeah, Johnny Depp's a fuck up. It seems like has struggles with addiction, and it sucks, and does have anger management issues, and that's about the size of it.
You mentioned tax implications. What are you talking about there?
Excuse me?
I think you just mentioned tax implications. What are you talking about there?
Well, what I was talking about is that when Ms. Heard began the negotiations, she was asking for approximately $4 million.
Ooh.
That balance then was
Foundation,
increased.
Hearsay, lack foundation,
Hearsay.
These are requests made by Ms. Heard and her counsel in a conversation, in communications.
Here, you want to push for a minute?
Yeah. How can that be hearsay? Oh. I don't know how court works.
As a result of your involvement on behalf of Mr. Depp in the negotiation, what was your understanding of what Ms. Heard was looking for?
Oh, it's sustained.
She initially was looking for a consideration of $4 million, but her demand continually increased.
Really?
It went from $4 million to $5 million.
Wow.
Then it went from $5 million to $5.5 million.
Ooh.
Then it went to $7 million.
Whoa!
And then it was $7 million, and she demanded that Mr. Depp also pay $500,000 to her attorneys. Then, after that consideration, she also said that all the community liabilities that were accumulated during the course of the marriage, which approximated
Sorry,
$13.5
there's an
million.
objection, sir. Whenever there's an objection, I'm sorry. If you can't hear, I'll let you know. Okay?
thank you, Your
Yeah, no
This
problem,
just
sir.
goes into his allegations of what she said, which Your Honor just instructed, sustain the objection on that. He has no foundation to suggest that. No knowledge of that.
Your Honor, I understand I asked his understanding.
All right, I'll overrule the objection. Go ahead.
Okay.
May I continue?
She'll tell you yes.
Yes. Go ahead, yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
He learns very well.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, it's her court. It's her court. And yeah, what a weird objection. You're actually going to try to say the forensic accountant's doing hearsay? He's the forensic... Of course he's going to have the receipts.
So the next demand was that all of the community liabilities that were unresolved, approximately $13.5 million, that Mr. Depp had to pay those liabilities in its entirety.
Whoa!
So at that point,
What the...
she was demanding $14,250,000 of consideration.
Whoa.
And then it got worse. The next demand was that all of this consideration be paid to her free of taxation.
Whoa!
And counselor,
What?
for him to pay $14,250,000 to Miss Heard, that would require him to earn approximately $30 million.
This is so far beyond the scope, so far beyond his foundation of what was discussed.
All right, I'll sustain that last answer. All right.
Really?
Next question?
Did you make a
Whoa.
proposal as to how payments would be made?
Heresy. Here's your
Yes,
shovel.
I
Or
did.
hearsay. Here's your shovel. I don't know if you're trying to say heresy or hearsay.
And they were initially contemplated to be paid directly to the charities, the Children's Hospital Los Angeles, for the benefit of the children who required severe medical service, and to the ACLU. During the course of the negotiations, one of the demands,
Just blame autocorrect.
because the contract changed, was that the payments be made directly to Miss Heard.
Did you have any personal involvement with either the ACLU or the Children's Hospital?
Yes, I did.
What was that?
Okay.
Mr. Depp directed me to issue two $100,000 checks directly to the Children's Hospital Los Angeles. I knew that he was involved and supported their efforts and appreciated his service. In addition to that, he directed me to contribute $100,000 to ACLU. In accordance with his instructions, my colleagues drafted the checks, I executed them, and they were delivered to the two charities.
And that sort of backs up all of the testimony we sort of waded through before, where, you know, he gave $100K to Amber Heard, who then forwards it to, like, Vanguard, like, yeah, that big, weird nesting doll.
Did you continue making payments to either of those charities on Ms. Heard's behalf?
No, in fact, I was chastised for making the payments by Ms. Heard's counsel and told that the payments in the future had to go
Objection, Your
directly
Honor.
to her.
This is clear hearsay. He's not answering the question. I would ask for you to instruct him to answer the question and not expound upon his...
I'll sustain this to hearsay. Next question.
Oh, wow, yeah, that was sustained. No shot.
Answer the question and not expound upon his...
I'll sustain this to hearsay. Next question.
Sustained, no kidding.
What role did you play
Slow it down a bit.
with respect to the payments ultimately made to Ms. Heard?
We supplied the payments to Ms. Heard in accordance with the agreement, either on or before the date in which they were required to be paid. The first payments made to Ms. Heard was $2 million.
Married for what, 2 years? Not even. It was like 18 months or something. Yeah, some like tiny amount, and she's asking for like How much was it? 15 mil?
in 2017.
Sheesh.
Then in April of 2017, another payment of $1 million made payable directly to Ms. Heard was made. Then in August of 2017, another
Without the first, autocorrect hates it. Right.
$1 million.
Yeah,
paid
it was
directly
that
to
short,
Ms. Heard.
Latar, dude.
Then in November, $500,000 was paid directly to Ms. Heard. My colleagues drafted those checks. I executed them. They were delivered on a timely basis. Therefore, in 2017, she was paid $4.5 million directly paid to her.
Oh.
Then on February 1 of 2018, she was paid the final installment of $2.3 million for total payments that went directly to Ms. Heard of $6.8 million.
Yo.
Do you know when this lawsuit was filed?
Yes, it was filed in March 1, 2019.
That's a lot
Were
of...
the payments that were made on Mr. Depp's behalf directly to Ms. Heard the only economic benefit she received?
Objection leading. I haven't heard them. Go. I'll overrule the objection for now. Go ahead.
Were the payments made on to Ms. Heard the only economic benefits that she received from the settlement agreement?
No, as I shared with you earlier, Mr. Depp was required to pay $500,000 to Ms. Heard's counsel.
Wow.
Which he did in a timely, respectful manner.
Wow.
He was also required to pay all the community liabilities, which accumulated during their 15-month of marriage.
15?
Was approximately $13,500,000.
Oh my
so
God!
He paid all the community liabilities. She paid none of them. That's why you have to aggregate the money that was paid directly to her, the money that was paid to her, to the charities on her behalf, the money that was paid to her attorneys, and the relief of all these liabilities that he had to satisfy. That's why I said to you, Counselor, that the total consideration paid to her was $14,250,000, and she demanded that that payment be made free of taxation, that Mr. Depp would have to satisfy all the tax liabilities.
Sorry, okay, stop. When she divorced him, she asked for him to pay off all her debts, pay a huge amount of money, and the taxes on that money? Is that odd? Is that weird? Is that strange? Why would he go through with that?
How long were they married for?
They were married for 15 months.
15 months?
Were the payments that went to Ms. Heard the only payments that you've made on Mr. Depp's behalf?
No, we satisfied all of his obligations, so it was very customary for us to pay everything that Mr. Depp was obligated to pay.
Right.
Are you familiar with an entity known as 2020 Wine Merchants?
Yes, I am.
20 wine merchants?
Why are you familiar with it?
It's a prominent purveyor.
Not even 2 years. She has nerve, got greedy, and the pig is getting slaughtered. I don't know. That's kind of TOS, Lacey. Oh, jeez. I thought you were against pigs getting slaughtered. What the fuck?
Wine in Los Angeles, California.
Let's say the horse has been led to pasture. Well, that's another way to say that.
Hearsay.
The dog caught the car. Oh, jeez.
I don't see the hearsay, but I don't.
Foundation at this point.
Can we agree?
Sure.
Oh man, the objections are getting ridiculous. He is not happy with these objections. So yeah, 15 mil? Yeah, no, seriously, the dog did catch the car. She is
where we left off is I
in
asked you,
big trouble.
How were you familiar with 2020 Wine Merchants? And if that's not what I asked you, that's what I'm asking you now.
2020 is a highly recognized purveyor of wine in Los Angeles, along with other companies.
What involvement, if any, did you have with 2020?
I satisfied the liabilities that Mr. Depp incurred, which at the dissolve of their marriage was approximately $160,000.
No.
Do you continue to pay Mr.
No. They ran a tab on that wine. She drank 160 bottles of wine at $1,000 a pop. 160, 2 wine bottles a night. That's 80 days. That's 2 months of drinking. 3 months. 3 months of drinking. Maybe you miss a day. But really, they were together for 15 months. So I don't know if I believe this whole 2 wine bottles a day, or $2,000 wine bottles. That doesn't really add up. But still, how do you rack up that much and why?
Depp's wine bill?
Yes, I do. We pay all of his obligations, but his wine bill has shrunk to virtually zero because he does not consume that much in the way of wine. He's made a few gifts around Christmas time.
And wine, yeah.
But his wine bill has gone to virtually zero.
Oh my God. Oh my God. What a way to prove that Amber Heard is the cause of $160,000 How do you drink? I can't even spend that amount of money. Like, what the fuck?
With a Spanish wine known as Vega Sicilia.
Yes.
How are you familiar?
This is him twisting the knife. He's like, yo, you want to bring up all my drug addictions? Let's talk about drug addictions, shall we? And then it's like, yeah, she dropped 160K. 160 or 100. Oh my God.
With that.
Rewind. Okay, let's see what that was.
I think where we left off is I asked you, how were you familiar with 2020 wine merchants?
Purveyor of wine in Los Angeles, along with
Here
other
we go.
companies.
What involvement, if any, did you have with 2020?
I satisfied the liabilities that Mr. Depp incurred, which at the dissolve of their marriage was approximately $160,000.
That's crazy.
Do you continue to pay Mr. Depp's wine bill?
Yes, I do. We pay all of his obligations, but his wine bill has shrunk to virtually zero because he does not consume that much in the way of wine. He's made a few gifts around Christmas time, but his wine bill has gone to virtually zero.
Did he say the figure?
Are you familiar with a Spanish wine known as Vega Sicilia?
Yes.
I didn't go far back
How
enough.
are you familiar with that?
I know that it is a very expensive wine, and that I know that Ms.
Yeah, hydration check, everybody. Hydration check.
Heard enjoyed drinking the wine.
How much does it cost?
The cost of the wine is approximately $500 a bottle.
There it is, everybody. 500, which means 8 months at 2 bottles a night. And now it's starting to make sense. Or 80 days. Lacey looking for that expensive wine, that pricey wine. Yeah, we drinking good tonight.
Were you ultimately charged with paying for the wine that was served on at the birthday party on April 21, 2016?
Yes, I was. We rendered the
Objection,
payment for that
Foundation.
balance.
Foundation.
I'll overrule the objection. It's fine.
How many bottles of Vega Sicilia were served?
At Ms. Heard's request, she ordered 5 bottles of the wine and 8 bottles of other wine, so a total of 13 bottles of wine.
Okay, for a party?
Thank you, Mr. White. I have no other questions.
Is that crazy?
This time.
Cross-examination.
13 bottles of wine for a party? Is that crazy, everybody? Someone has a drinky problem? I mean, yeah, like everyone makes so much hay about Depp slamming cabinets and smashing bottles and being visibly intoxicated at like 9 in the morning. Then let's talk about the $160,000 wine bill. Holy shit. Yo, alcohol gets such a pass in our society. Yeah, I don't think you would get 13. Even as an alcoholic, would you like go and get 13 bottles for a party? Like, there's got to be at least a dozen people. I'll get 1 wine bottle for each person. They're gifts. Now it's starting to make sense.
Thank
They
you, Your
didn't
Honor.
want the bottle. I
Good
guess I'm
afternoon, Mr. White.
keeping it.
Good afternoon, Counselor.
Your firm has been paid millions of dollars by Mr. Depp and his companies since you were first retained in 2016, correct?
Correct?
And in fact, you're being paid for the time that you're sitting on that witness stand today, aren't you?
No.
Well, you charge the time that you
No? Oops.
spent in connection with legal proceedings in this case, correct?
That's correct, but I charge for my time.
Yeah.
And at the same time,
You answered
I
my
would
question, sir. In
charge-
fact, you charge $710 an hour for your time, don't you?
Counselor, if you let me complete my answer, I'll
No,
be happy
I-
to respond.
Sir,
Wow.
Please try to
Wow.
stick to the question that I'm asking you. You've
Wow.
had your chance to go well beyond the question being asked.
He
You
is
could-
on question 2 and already arguing. You're arguing with the witness. What are you doing?
Just please stick to the question I'm asking you. Would go a lot faster.
Cringe.
Oh, I don't think your microphone was on there. It's not.
El cringe, gringe.
It's not really badgering. It's not an
Yeah, thank you, Your
objection,
Honor.
but that's all right. So just if you could answer the question that's
You hear that? You hear that? Don't badger the witness.
asked. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your
I-
Honor.
I
You're-
charge-
let me start over, sir. You charge Mr. Depp $710 an hour for the work that you do for him, don't you?
That is my standard rate for all clients, and yes, I do charge that rate to Mr. Depp.
And you gave a deposition in this case. Do you remember that on or around February 2nd, 2022?
Yes.
Okay.
And that day, you charged Mr. Depp $710 an hour for the time that you spent giving testimony that day, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And you charge Mr. Depp $710 an hour for anything that you do in connection with his account, don't you?
Yes, I do.
You have about 6 people.
But Your Honor, he badgered me first. My feelings hurt. It's actually kind of fun to watch a witness give as good as they get. You know, this guy's taking no shit.
Work thing that you do in connection with his account, don't you?
Yes, I do.
You have
made for you,
about 6
baby.
people working on
That's
Mr.
it.
Depp's
Get your
account,
paper.
correct?
Yes.
And whether through you or one of your colleagues, your main contact with Mr. Depp and his companies is his sister, Christy Dombrowski, correct?
No.
Who is your main contact?
Mr. Depp.
One of your colleagues maintains active communication with Christy Dombrowski, correct?
Could you ask the question again, Counselor?
One of your colleagues maintains active communication with Christy Dombrowski, correct?
No.
No. Yo, just count the amount of times that is that correct? Just the score. Just put a scoreboard. Talking about ethical billing. Yeah, I know. What's his angle here? Seriously, what's his angle? So, you were charging this millionaire lots of money to do a highly complex and sophisticated task that basically directed his entire financial estate over like a
Mr.
long
White, I've
period of
handed
time?
you the transcript from your deposition that you gave in this case on February 2nd, 2022. You remember that? We did it over Zoom?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And
Stopping away.
you swore to tell the truth
Yeah, he's currently charging like $600 an hour.
in that deposition as best you can, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Can you turn to page 116 of your deposition transcript?
And Lacey, you may not know this, but lawyers are famous for being cannibals. They eat their own. Their profession eats its own, you know, like no other.
Certainly.
Yeah, the stomping away.
Did you say 16, Counselor?
116, 116.
I much preferred the other lawyer who just got visibly flustered and like begged the judge, like pleaded with the judge, but Your Honor, but please, blubbers. All right, let's skip ahead.
Okay, I have.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, I have it.
And now you just answered no to my question about your colleagues maintaining communication with Christy Dombrowski, but at your deposition just 2 months ago on line 11 of page 116, the question is, what about Christy Dombrowski? The answer that you gave is, I do not. I haven't spoken to Christy in some time. One of my colleagues probably maintains an active basis of communications between her and our firm. Did I read that right?
Probably.
Yes, but you
That was
you
my
need to
question,
find the
just if
term.
I read that right, sir. Now, part of the services that you provide, that your firm provides to Mr. Depp, is to pay the bills to his doctors, correct?
Yes.
And
Yo, he looked visibly flustered. He looked like, who is this upstart lawyer asking questions like he don't know who I am, Mr. White?
and you make payments relating to maintenance or damages to his properties, correct?
Yes.
Now, you were contacted in early 2016, right? You testified to that to do work on behalf of Mr. Depp?
Yeah, he's at that stage of life where he's like, I do not care who or what you are, my guy. I will stomp you.
We were engaged in March
Engaged.
of 2016, if that's your question.
Right.
I don't give a
right.
fuck.
Around
No.
February 10th? Is that when you were first contacted?
I do not recall the date.
And you said you were introduced by executives, a guy named Richard Smith at the Bank of California?
Yes.
Mr. Depp owed significant amount of money to the Bank of California at that time, correct?
No.
He owed money to the Bank of California, correct?
I do not recall that he had an active indebtedness with the Bank of California. He had other commercial loans, but not with the Bank of California.
Dang.
And after you were brought on, you developed an understanding that Mr. Depp's financial status was very challenging, correct?
It was challenging, but we had an ability to resolve the problems if they were properly addressed.
He had liquidity problems, right?
He had substantial assets in excess of his liabilities, but he had short-term obligations that needed to be satisfied.
That is called a liquidity problem. I don't know why he just didn't say yes. That is literally the definition of liquidity problem. You got the money, but you can't pipe it to the obligations. So the cash is not liquid.
Let me just ask that again. At the time that you were brought on, he had liquidity problems, correct?
Yes.
Can you define liquidity for me?
I'm asking you. At the time he was brought on, he had liquidity problems, correct?
I would define the term liquidity as where the short-term assets are less than the short-term liabilities. And if that's how you define liquidity, I would agree.
I see.
In layman's terms that I can understand, because I don't speak all the kind of business school terms that you speak, he didn't have enough money at the time, correct? He was spending more than he was bringing in, correct?
No.
Yes.
And you gave him advice about how he could hopefully get out of that problem, correct?
Yes.
Yo, what is happening in the background? Why are there police officers? Wait, what? I missed on this drama.
Time, correct? He was spending more than he was bringing in, correct?
Yes.
And you gave him advice about how he could hopefully get out of that problem, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And
Drama in the courtroom, everybody.
just to be clear, Mr. White,
You want to be famous? No, it's just an instant ban. New choke D50. Man, the bots. I really gotta get a better, spam bot or something to like block those guys. It's on YouTube and Twitch. It's crazy.
testified to some degree of knowledge about wine that you allege that Ms. Heard requested. So you seem to have some knowledge of Mr. Depp.
Why did the cops ask JD's sister something? I don't know. I feel like it's somebody's disrupting the court.
Spending. Ms. Heard didn't buy any of the dozens of properties that Mr. Depp owned, correct?
Correct. He owned the assets prior to the marriage.
She didn't pay $5 million to blast Hunter Thompson's ashes out of a cannon, did she?
Did he just say what I think he said?
Some knowledge of Mr. Depp's spending. Ms. Heard didn't buy any of the dozens of properties that Mr. Depp owned, correct?
Correct. He owned the assets prior to the marriage.
She didn't pay $5 million to blast Hunter Thompson's ashes out of a cannon, did she?
Not to my knowledge.
That is insane. How dare you besmirch Hunter S. Thompson's honor by saying Johnny Depp did something ridiculous. It's Hunter S. Thompson. What are you talking about? Why would you go after him for that? It's fucking Hunter S. Thompson being blasted out of a cannon. There's nothing better than that. It's like a cultural... There's no better way to honor one of the greatest gonzo journalists of our time, besides making a whole fucking movie on him, than to blast his ashes from a cannon and to do it well. I cannot believe... What do you... Oh man, this lawyer, special little, oh man.
She didn't buy a yacht that she couldn't afford and then have to sell it to J.K. Rowling, did she?
Oh wait, J.K. Rowling bought Johnny Depp's yacht? Yeah, okay, this is some real rich people shit.
Not to my knowledge.
Now let's talk about that meeting.
He probably asked to be shot out of a cannon? Yeah, exactly. I don't care if it's $5 billion. It's honoring Hunter S. Thompson. One of the greatest writers of our generation. Well, not our generation, but Johnny Depp's generation, that's for sure.
Meeting on April 21st, 2016. You said the meeting started at about 7:30 p.m.?
Yes.
And lasted till maybe 9:30, is that right?
Yes.
And
I can't believe the person who was asking for $14 million in the divorce, after less than a 2-year relationship, is now shaming Johnny Depp for spending a couple $1 million on blasting someone's ashes out of a cannon. What's she trying to do here?
I have no idea, no personal knowledge where Mr. Depp went after he left that meeting, do you?
That is correct. I did not go with him. I went home.
Okay. It's an odd question.
And at that meeting, Mr. Depp was given some catastrophic news about his business, correct?
He was given news that he needed to address a number of financial issues, but I had a strategy and plan to fully resolve them.
Okay.
That news that he was given that night was catastrophic, wasn't it?
No.
May I approach, Your Honor?
No, sir.
May I approach Your Honor? What? He gave his answer. What do you want? He said what he said. Your question was bad, and you should feel bad. Oh no, he's gonna give him a deposition from 2 months ago, where he previously described it as catastrophic.
Mr. White, let's do this again with another under oath series of statements. You gave testimony in the UK trial, did you not?
There it is.
Yes.
And that testimony...
Your Honor, I don't like his answer. Well, it might be that because there's previous testimony, so he is going to pull the lawyer thing, which is like, no, but actually, you said this. So, yeah, that's legit, you know.
He was under oath, correct?
Yes.
All right. And in front of you, I have your testimony from the UK trial, and you gave that...
But he is definitely a very petulant lawyer. Like, his whole attitude has just been getting under my skin.
Testimony on behalf of Mr. Depp, correct?
I gave it honestly.
Okay. You gave it on behalf of Mr. Depp, correct? You were one of his witnesses called.
That is correct.
Okay. Can you please turn to page 865?
Gave it honestly.
And it's just the second page of the document, upper left. Before that, the questions are talking about this meeting on April 21st, 2016. And you were asked the question, now Mr. Depp was given some catastrophic news about his business. Answer, that is correct. Did I read that right?
You did, but remember,
That was
when I get a chance
you
to
answered my
respond,
question, sir. You answered
I
my
did not
question.
define that term.
Sir, Mr. You'll have a chance. The attorney will get back up and redirect you, okay? So if you just answer.
I did not define that term. Well, oh, right. So in that thing, it's like they defined it as this way, and so it was catastrophic, right? It's like, well, under that definition, I guess.
His question, that's fine.
And the reason I'm asking, sir, is because you just gave the exact opposite testimony here. So that's why we pointed that out. Now, at this meeting, you had a discussion about his financial affairs and a necessity to formulate a revised business strategy and plan, correct?
Yes.
And you talked about the following financial information. You talked about bank obligations and tax liabilities, right?
Yes.
Which means money you owe to either the government or banks, correct?
Yes.
You talked about assets that he needed to sell, correct?
Yes.
Properties and things like that he needed to sell to generate money?
Correct.
You talked about ways to reduce spending, correct?
Yes.
And you talked about how to get new engagements, correct?
Yes.
How to get new gigs, right?
Sure.
Not how to get them, but
The
I
need to
encouraged
get
him to get them. I'm not an
Understood.
agent.
I
do
appreciate
not
that.
procure his engagements.
And understood. You talked about the need to get new gigs to generate additional money to help address these financial woes that he was experiencing, correct?
Yes.
You also told him at that meeting that his taxes, he hadn't paid taxes in years, correct?
No, that's not correct. That he had not paid any taxes in years is not correct.
That he was significantly delinquent in federal tax obligations dating back years, correct?
I don't know how you're defining years. There were delinquent liabilities. I addressed them and formulated a plan.
Significant delinquencies. You notice all these like weasel words? He's adding on these adjectives to make things seem better or worse depending on how he needs it to go. Did Johnny always have money issues, or is it directly related to his relationship with Amber? I don't know. I think that's one of those things where there's so many different factors. It's hard to say what caused X, Y, or Z, but definitely the way that the forensic accountant was talking about the $15 million like financial obligation to Amber Heard, and as a result of the divorce, he seemed pretty salty about it. And that's just me reading into it, but it seemed to him a bit, let's say, ridiculous. So maybe 15 million will hurt anybody. That's a lot of dough. I myself have never even made $1 million. I don't even know what $1 million looks like. I hear you can maybe buy a home with $1 million. So I guess that seems rich. Can you buy a home for $1 million now?
And you talked about the significant delinquent tax liabilities that would run into the millions of dollars for taxes unpaid, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. I imagine he had money issues that stem from this. There's no way he couldn't have.
And so after receiving this catastrophic news, as we discussed, you have no idea where Mr. Depp went when he walked out of the doors of his office, correct?
Look how he inserted that word catastrophic again. That fucker.
I do not know where he went.
Can you pull up Plaintiff's Exhibit 936, please?
Uh-oh, they got him at a bar. He went to the bar to drown his sorrows, and they're gonna get him. Like, Johnny Depp went to the bar after hearing some bad news.
And Mr. White, I'm not gonna. This is a long document that we can scroll through. But what I'll represent to you, and Michelle can sort of scroll down, is that these appear to be Mr. Depp's tax returns for Mr. Depp and his companies from 2009 to 2019. Do you see that?
Yes.
And these are returns as part of your role as his CPA firm now, his business manager firm now. Your firm prepares these tax returns, correct?
Yes.
And you maintain these tax returns in the ordinary course of your business, correct?
That is correct.
Your Honor, I know there's going to be plenty of redaction to do, but I just would like to move these into evidence. I don't plan to publish them or anything at this point.
Objection, Your Honor.
You want to approach?
Wow, an objection. Really?
936 will come into evidence, but I'll wait for redactions and they will not be published. Okay?
Okay. All
Thank you, Your Honor.
Seems pretty bog standard.
Now, Mr. White, you understood that Mr. Depp showed up hours late for work on Pirates 5, correct?
That is not correct.
Got him. They keep trying to push this thing that he's late to work. He's like an A-star actor. You think that matters? And no witnesses are supporting this.
Are you familiar with Tracy Jacobs?
What is this?
Yes.
That's Mr. Depp's former agent, correct?
Yes.
And at the time that she was serving as his agent, part of her job responsibilities, to the best of your understanding, was to communicate with you about Mr. Depp's financial affairs, correct?
To the extent she had knowledge,
Right.
yes, she would communicate.
Sure.
And you and she did communicate about Mr. Depp, correct?
During the period of her engagement, yes, we did communicate.
Okay. Can you pull up Defendant's Exhibit 874, please, Michelle? Mr. White, do you see here this text exchange between you and Tracy Jacobs?
Yes.
And your texts are in white and Miss Jacobs are in blue, correct?
Yes.
Michelle, could you please scroll to the document that is bait stamped DEP 19246? It's about the 5th or 6th.
Skip ahead.
See here Mr. White, do you see here the third text down from Tracy Jacobs to you saying, thanks, I got a call from Disney last week saying he showed up 5
Objection,
hours
Your
late
Honor,
for
hearsay.
EDR. It's
I got
not
a
hearsay,
call.
it's party opponent. She's his agent. I'm happy to approach if you'd like to discuss.
Okay, they're gonna do their lawyer thing. Lawyers are lawyering. Judge is judging. Witnesses are witnessing. Streamer is scrubbing. Chatters are twiddling their thumbs. Audience is audiencing. Police are policing. Aides are aiding. Flags are flying.
You won't
Okay.
see any. We just saw the text that I started reading. Do you remember that text?
Yes.
Okay. We're just gonna show you and move for admission of that page of the document with that text. So I just wanted, since you won't see anything else, I just wanted you to orient yourself that is the text that we were just reading. Okay.
Fine.
Okay.
Your Honor, that page or that text?
They're going to redact it, just that one text.
Thank you.
Okay, that was a lot of hoopla for one.
Mission of this document is, I guess we could call it Defendant's 874. You received this
question.
text from Tracy Jacobs that says, thanks, I got a call from Disney last week saying he showed up 5 hours late for ADR work in London for Pirates 5. I really need to speak to him before he starts work on his next project in LA. Did I read that right? Permission to publish this, Your Honor?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Do you want me to respond?
I just wanted to ask you if I read that right, that you received this text message saying in part, I got a call from Disney last week saying he showed up 5 hours late for ADR work in London for Pirates 5. I really need to speak to him before he starts work on this next project in LA. Did I read that right?
I believe you read it right.
Thank you.
Okay,
Now,
that's fair. Wow, Disney was upset that he showed up late, and his agent got a call. Got a call.
at some point you became familiar. You can go ahead and take that down, please. Thank you. At some point you became familiar,
Straight
as you
to jail.
testified, with what Amber
It's so hearsay. I don't know. That's an email that was sent. So I don't think that's hearsay. It's an actual document.
planned to do with money that she got from Mr. Depp in the divorce, correct?
It was the understanding from the beginning the money would be contributed to charities.
The two charities, to the
Contracts were
Children's
drafted in that
Hospital,
manner.
of LA and the ACLU, correct?
That is correct.
And as we discussed, you wrote checks
Who
to those
from
two
Disney?
organizations that
I think it was redacted. Like you would redact that kind of information. If we go back, yeah, we see that it's been redacted. Redact text and images, big black bars. So we know that it came from the agent. So we know that is like a legit communication. That did happen at some point because it's timestamped and everything from a specific person.
Mr. Depp in the divorce, correct?
It was the understanding from the beginning the money would be contributed to charities.
The two charities, to the
Contracts were
Children's
drafted in that
Hospital,
manner.
Children's Hospital of LA, and
I love it when this old guy gets talked right over. Yeah, I think hearsay is coming up when the witness is being asked a question and they respond by saying, well, this person told me. And it's like, well, that's hearsay because we have no way to verify when or where or how they told you. I think that's how hearsay. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know.
ACLU, correct?
That is correct.
And as we discussed, you wrote checks to those two organizations that were part of Mr. Depp's divorce payment, but they were just sent directly to those organizations, correct?
Yes.
Can you please pull up Defendant's Exhibit
What a slump.
1639? Actually,
Yes.
let's do
Hunched over.
Defendant's Exhibit. Yeah, we'll do 1639. Thanks.
He's reading a text, maybe? Doesn't have very good posture.
Mr. White, this is a letter from you to the ACLU Foundation dated August 24th, 2016, correct?
Yes.
And as
I understand, but they didn't identify the email author at first, then did after meeting with the judge. Oh, they didn't identify the email author. That was a text, though. Then did after meeting with the judge. Yeah, that just might have to do with like the nuance of how you redact a document or how you submit a document. That stuff is really kind of unclear to me, to be honest. I don't know how to interpret it.
as part of your work for your 100 or so high-profile, high-net-worth clients, you've helped clients set up pledged contributions to charities before, correct?
Yes.
And sometimes those payments are made over a period of time, correct?
Yes.
Charitable donations aren't always paid at once, correct?
That is correct.
Sure.
And when you make payments on behalf of your clients to charities, is it customary for you to send a cover letter like this?
In some instances, yes. In some instances, no.
Okay.
But in
And-
all instances, that there is a signed agreement and an understanding of when the
Yeah,
payments will be made.
so that wasn't my question. My question was just, is it customary for you to send a letter like this? And I think you've answered that. And so when you send letters like this on behalf of your clients, do you prepare such letters in the ordinary course of your business?
In some instances, yes.
And in the instances in which you prepare those letters, do you then maintain those letters in the ordinary course of your business?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd move for admission of Defendant's Exhibit 1639.
Any objection? No. All right, 1639 in evidence, and you can publish it to the jury. Thank you.
And Michelle, if you could please just scroll through, Mr. White, I just want you to see there's the letter here. We'll come back to the letter. And then there's the check that you're making out to
But wait, they're making a bunch of hay over this 100K check
the ACLU. Then there's, I guess,
that
the
Johnny
envelope or
gave to
something,
the
right?
ACLU?
Correct.
Okay, you can go back to the letter, please. So in this cover letter, you tell the ACLU that you're enclosing a check for $100,000 and that the donation is being made in accordance with Ms. Heard's pledged gift of $3.5 million to the ACLU Foundation. Correct?
Yes.
And you also write that the check represents. Just go ahead. That the check represents the first of multiple scheduled installments. Correct?
It was my understanding that
I'm
she
just
was
asking
going
if
to
that's what you
contribute
wrote. I'm just asking if that's what
$3,500,000
you
to
wrote,
children.
sir.
You've asked me a question. I'm trying to respond.
No,
to
I was actually just asking if that's what you wrote.
Would you ask the question again, please?
Yeah, you write, this check represents the first of multiple scheduled installments to honor the full amount of Ms. Heard's $3.5 million pledged gift.
It was my understanding she was going to contribute the money, and that's
Okay,
consistent
sir,
with my
I just
response.
asked if that's what you wrote. I think you've answered that. Can we please pull up Exhibit 1596?
This Mr. White is very unhappy right now with this lawyer.
Your Honor, before we go to the next exhibit, can I raise an issue with the,
Okay,
with the
sure.
bar? Thank you.
Raise an issue. Yeah, it's probably badgering the witness. Some people are leaving now. Yeah, don't badger the witness. His expressions? Yeah, he seems so
Mr.
upset.
White, is this a letter similar to what we just looked at for the ACLU, a letter that you wrote that accompanied the check that you sent to the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles Foundation?
Yes.
And this letter and this letter is one that you would have prepared in the ordinary course of business, correct?
Yes.
And you would have maintained this letter in the ordinary course of business, correct?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd move for the admission of Exhibit 1596.
All right, 1596 in evidence. You can publish it to the jury.
And Mr. White, this letter also says at the bottom that it represents, the check that accompanies this letter represents the first of multiple scheduled installments to honor the full amount of Ms. Heard's $3.5 million pledged gift, correct?
But isn't this just more nails in the coffin for Amber Heard? Why would her lawyers bring this up?
When I composed a letter, that was my understanding that she was going to give $3.5 million.
Sir, you're really not answering my question. My question was simply, I understand that you want to speak your own narrative here, but my question was simply that this letter says that this check represents the first of multiple scheduled installments to honor the full amount of Ms. Heard's $3.5 million pledge gift, correct?
Yes.
We can both read the letter, and the answer is yes.
Thank you, sir.
Wow. Shade. We can both read the letter. Wow.
Dinner with Mr. Depp and Adam Waldman in 2016, correct?
I do recall that.
And that was the first time that Mr. Depp had been introduced to Mr. Waldman, correct?
I do not know that, to be factual.
Now, you are not an expert on California divorce law, right?
Correct.
And you're not an expert on the division of marital property in California, correct?
I'm not an expert, but I've been actively involved in numerous cases involving the dissolution of marriage and the related proceeds are distributed to each respective party.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, probably an expert. Definitely knows more than I do.
Now, you can't give any sort of legal opinion or testimony as to whether or not Ms. Heard would have been entitled to more in the divorce settlement with Mr. Depp than she received, correct?
More?
I'm not an attorney at law.
Okay.
I don't render legal opinions.
So, you've never met Amber Heard, correct?
That is correct.
The first time you've ever seen her in person is here in this courtroom this afternoon, correct?
Just let me go back to my office. He's got like a corner office with windows, and he's stuck in this courtroom.
That's my recollection.
And you have no personal knowledge of whether Mr. Depp engaged in domestic abuse against my client, correct?
I've never witnessed him involved in any abuse, and obviously I've never met her. I could not respond to that inquiry.
So the answer to my question is that it's correct, that you have no personal knowledge of whether Mr. Depp engaged in domestic abuse against Amber Heard.
True.
That is correct. I have no knowledge.
Nothing further.
All right, redirect.
Whew.
Mr. Dennison.
We got through it, everybody. That was a pretty intense cross-examination. Oh my god.
Can we pull up defendant's 1596?
Plot the destruction of this lawyer's career. Yeah. He's gonna go back to this footage and just like watch it and fume to himself alone on the couch.
Line of your letter.
This check represents the first of multiple scheduled installments to honor the full amount of Ms. Heard's $3.5 million pledged gift.
Yeah. There it
What
is.
was the schedule for those payments?
They were scheduled. I don't know the schedule because I don't have a copy of any pledge that she made, if that's your question.
Okay, thank you very much. One more question. Has Mr. Depp paid all his taxes?
Yes, he has. He's fully current with all of his
there you go.
federal, foreign, and state tax obligations.
Thank you.
All right, no further questions, Mr. Dennison?
No further questions.
All right, is this witness subject to recall? No. All right, Mr. White, you're free to go. Thank you, sir. Just be very...
So I'm actually going to check in really briefly on the Ottawa convoy that should be showing up. There's a bit of news, and apparently Ottawa is going to be visited again by the Rolling Thunder. Rolling Thunder today from Vancouver, British Columbia. Apparently, this group has the blessings to protest in Ottawa. Residents are planning an unwelcome party. Rolling Thunder, here you go. Husky meet at 8:30, depart at 9. Yorkdale. Okay, so it looks like maybe tomorrow, for tomorrow's stream, I think I might cover this and see what's going on. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a bunch of footage that pops up overnight. From people who go there and live stream it. Also, it's worth learning. If you've been following this, Edward, come to bed. Okay, stop. Stop, Lotard. Is that Lily Rose sitting beside JD's sister? I don't know who any of these people are, Lacey. I am not looking at the background. So yeah, the woman who danced on the tomb of the unknown soldier won't face criminal charges, everybody. Can you believe it? Just gonna skate away. No problem. Not a big deal. No problem. And yeah, it looks like This was also a big story. No, not this stuff. Not the Toronto 99. This guy's really crazy. I've been watching him for a while because he's like fomenting terror. Let's see.
Trudeau must go continues to trend on Twitter, and a lot of people are wondering why. Why does everybody hate Trudeau? I'm going to tell you why. Not only is he one of the worst prime ministers that Canada has ever had, but his tenure as prime minister has been plagued with scandal after scandal. So we're going to take a look at that today. Now, I don't have time to go through everything, otherwise we'd be here all day. So here's 3 of the worst scandals Justin Trudeau has been involved in.
This should be good.
In 2019, Justin Trudeau and his cronies tried to pressure Jody Wilson into dropping charges against SNC Lavalin, a shady construction company that was charged with fraud and corruption. However,
was he not alive for Harper? No, this guy's a conservative.
She refused, so he fired her, showing
he's actually really young too.
The world his true colors and the fact that he's not a real feminist.
He's not a feminist.
Now, in 2016, Justin Trudeau actually spoke at the World Economic
Yo, a conservative saying, yo, this man's not a feminist.
Forum and thanked Klaus Schwab. I'll show you the clip right here.
Thank you, Professor Schwab, for your warm welcome and for bringing this impressive group together.
Wow, you went to the World Economic Forum, everybody. Can you believe it?
Furthermore, Justin Trudeau was actually pictured speaking with Klaus Schwab.
Who's
now,
Klaus
what were they
Schwab?
talking about?
Who the hell is
Nobody knows, and that's the problem.
What?
The truth about the relationship between Justin Trudeau and the World Economic Forum is being hidden from the public. Now, here's one of his worst scandals.
This is so good. Who is Klaus Schwab and why did he not explain? He founded what would become the World Economic Forum. He serves as executive chairman, criticized for receiving $1 million paycheck, salary, while declaring publicly that excessively high management salaries were no longer socially acceptable. Okay, that's not that big of a scandal. Capture of democratic structures and institutions. There we go. This might be closer to the QAnon stuff. Okay. Okay. So yeah, some people criticize the World Economic Forum as being like setting up coup d'etats and stuff. Okay, all right.
Earlier this year, Trudeau used emergency powers to clamp down on a peaceful protest in Ottawa.
Peaceful.
Not only that, but he put the organizers in jail, arrested one of his political opponents, and stole the money from hardworking
Randy Hillier. We're going to find out about Randy Hillier soon.
Truckers. Now, it's safe to say this is only the very tip of the iceberg. Justin Trudeau has been involved in a lot of bad stuff, and there's a lot of stuff that he's involved in that we don't even know about.
Trudeau authoritarianism's here, brother. We gotta. The only thing we can lose are chains.
Either way, what do you think Trudeau's worst scandal is? Let me know in the comment section below.
You hear that, everybody? What's the worst Trudeau? The biggest Trudeau scandal is the $4.3 billion subsidies that continue to go to oil and gas companies. I'm surprised that wasn't mentioned. That's a pretty big ongoing scandal. So yeah, there was Randy Hillier. Where is it? Randy Hillier. Judge denies, this is news, judge denies Randy Hillier's bid to be allowed in downtown Ottawa. And he's an independent MPP. So for that dude to describe, that's so funny. That's so funny. What is it? The Toronto 22 or whatever. He was describing Randy Hillier as Trudeau's political opponent. The guy is an independent MPP. That's about as low level of power that you can possibly get. He's not even in a party at a provincial parliament. That's not Trudeau's political opponent. What are you, loony? All right, here we go. An Ontario Superior Court justice has denied MPP Randy Hillier's bid to be allowed in downtown Ottawa as a bail condition prohibits him from visiting following charges related to participating in the Freedom Convoy protest. Hillier, spelt with 3 L's, who remains an independent MPP for the riding of Lanark-Frontenac-Kingston, had sought a bail review hearing to remove the condition barring him from the downtown core of the nation's capital, aside from meeting his lawyer or attending court. Hillier also sought the hearing because he believes another bail condition limiting his online activity, quote, overly restricts Mr. Hillier's ability to speak about or support anti-mandate causes on social media or otherwise. Was he not? The hearing took place on the eve of preparations for a weekend rally in Ottawa, which doesn't specifically protest COVID-19 rules. Hillier told CBC News he would not attend any events connected to the rally, which include planned gatherings on Parliament Hill and at the National War Memorial. That's right, everybody. That's right. They did. The lady who danced on the tomb of the unknown soldier didn't get charged, and now they's a coming back. Amber also told the court he had filed the bail review application before the rally was even on anyone's radar. Quote, Randy says he doesn't plan on attending, so we're simply going after those two conditions because they're overly restrictive for the circumstances, Amber said. Justice Hugh McLean still told the court Thursday afternoon, quote, in the current circumstances, it was appropriate to keep the bail conditions preventing Hillier from visiting the city's downtown. Quote, your client has, shall we say, an interesting record of not following the law. Law and order, everybody. After turning himself in on charges related to the convoy protest and occupation in downtown Ottawa, Hillier was released on bail with conditions in late March. In charging Hillier, Ottawa police said they had complaints about social media posts and other activities of an individual during the so-called Freedom Convoy. The charges include assaulting a peace or public officer, 2 counts of obstructing or resisting a public officer, 1 count of obstructing or resisting someone aiding a public or peace officer, 3 counts of counseling an uncommitted indictable offense, 2 of them considered mischief, and 2 counts of mischief or obstructing property exceeding $5,000. Hillier denied assaulting an officer, saying he only greeted people with love and affection and embrace and handshakes. So what do you think, everybody? Is he a good guy? He was definitely there. I wonder if he's gonna show up and just like kind of like flout the judge's orders. I'm not really sure. So yeah, Rolling Thunder Ottawa. Let's see if there's anything else. Ottawa police say they're preparing. There's like a biker rally. Yeah, okay, so people are getting ready. And now we have the route, and Ottawa Citizen also has some news. So here is the police.
We're monitoring the numbers, and we know that organizers have said they expect up to 400 motorcycles. We expect that many of these individuals will be staying in downtown hotels. There are other sites these participants may visit, including a rural property on Eagleson Road and a church in Vanier. Any area where these participants gather will see increased police presence and possible traffic delays. The organizers have advised that the participants will depart the city on Sunday. We don't necessarily have different legal remedies that are in place now that were in place prior to the convoy. One of the things I think that's important for us to recognize is through the convoy, we learned a lot, and our community style expectations are somewhat different now. In the city of Ottawa, we've had many rolling vehicle-based protest rallies and demonstrations in the past that have been successfully managed. The convoy and the fallout of the convoy and the occupation of our streets has changed our community expectations, changed public expectations, and our policing response to these types of events. So what you're seeing is us take a much more proactive stance in terms of how we manage people in and around that downtown core, while we work with our city partners to establish what are the right areas to actually manage and control, and listen to our community and public in terms of their expectations on how rallies, demonstrations, and protests roll out in our street.
Okay. Oh, there's also something I missed on that could be really good, and it's Bill Burr on the Johnny Depp and Amber thing.
Doug Stanhope put something up. He wrote something. He's friends with Johnny Depp, and he's going through this brutal fucking divorce. And I just want to give him props for sticking up for his friend and everything and saying something, because, you know what's really so fucked up?
What, Bill
All
Burr?
right?
What, Bill Burr? Tell us.
It's all the shit that happens to women, that guys do to women, is fucked up. But there has been a slight overcorrection now where if a woman just says you do something, before you're ever tried or convicted, it just gets put in the paper. It gets put all over the internet, and then all you fucking morons, or 90% of you on the fucking internet, Just take it as truth.
Yeah, he literally leaned back for that one.
Take it as fun. Why do you take it as truth? Because you want it to be true? Because he's doing better than you in life? I mean, it's just fucking unbelievable. I really believe this, okay? If somebody gets accused, okay, of rape or domestic violence, they should not publicize the person's name until they're convicted of it. I think that's more than fair, considering all the.
I don't know on that one, Boober, because like from what I understand, part of the reason this like women have had to develop a network of gossip essentially in order to protect themselves from sleazy dudes who aren't removed from the streets. Like, isn't there like massive logs of rape kits? Like, police do not treat sexual assault seriously enough, and our court systems aren't really well equipped to handle the whole he said she said thing that can happen in bedrooms. And even though men perpetrate the vast amount of violence against women, they don't really get charged for it. Like that's just not a thing that happens as commonly. So I don't know. I think there's a big L from Bill Burr. I think he's missing a lot of perspective here. There's a reason why like these sort of non-legal, these courts of public opinion emerge. It's because women are trying to protect themselves from shitty dudes. That's what that is. And yes, there's going to be some women who abuse that network and use it to sort of like gaslight about their own abuse, which is what seems to be happening or might be happening with the Amber Heard Johnny Depp case. But like, that's the exception to the rule. Generally, the rule is that women are talking because they got to. They got a kind of network to figure out like who's a piece of shit behind closed doors.
Fucking dopes out there that the second they read something, it's got to be true.
Okay, that's true. That's true. People go so quick to judge.
You know?
I was told if I press charges, I would be torn apart. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like there's a huge barrier for most women, and also I understand that implies something, and I'm sorry to hear that. But yeah, the court system is not kind. Like in order for a victim of sexual assault to get to that position of conviction, they got to relive their trauma in a fucking court. Like that's crazy. That's very, and I don't know how to make that better. Like I understand the court system needs that evidence, needs that allegation of harm in order to proceed. But on the other hand, like police just don't treat it seriously. Therapist told me it would be bad and it had to be my choice. But it could also be cleansing, right? Like you get some sort of closure one way or the other. But if it blew up in your face and maybe the therapist has had like previous experiences with the clients, you know what I mean? Like speaking from experience, knows how shitty the system is. Yeah, I think this is a big L from Bill Burr. I think he's just kind of ignorant. He's just super ignorant about like what women actually face when it comes to trying to bring forth allegations. That's literally the whole point of the Me Too movement, was there was such stigma, and Amber Heard very much like, yeah, she kind of like rode the positive movement that the Me Too movement was bringing around, like the positive attention to sexual assault survivors, and I guess spun it to her own favor.
Fucking see what happens first. See what the fuck happens first. Oh, that whole thing now, that all you got to do is just say it. The amount of fucking guys who've been falsely accused of that shit, it's like you're literally fucking with their ability to get a job.
Yeah, I think the most heinous example was like, if I remember correctly, it was like a grad student who was doing a project, and she carried around a mattress around campus, and the mattress was what she had been allegedly assaulted on, and she's basically outing the guy who did it. And lo and behold, it turns out it was a made-up allegation or something to that effect. And he sues her in court for defamation and basically wins, and it basically blows up in her face. And what often happens is that like these are sort of rare, and so everyone finds out about it, even if it's not really representative of like what the actual stats or numbers are. Like, from what I understand, like, it's men who do it. Like, men are the shit. Yeah, men do get assaulted, and they're very much ashamed to admit it. But yeah, women have the support networks. They know how to talk about it. They expect it from men because men do it. But when it happens to a dude, like, he's got nothing. He's fucked. He can't tell anyone. He'll be ridiculed by his own peers. What, you let a man take advantage of you? Like, what, you couldn't defend yourself? Or like that toxic masculinity? Or he's just straight up, like, there's no social network. Like, even the impulse to go to therapy or to tell his friends that he's not feeling so hot without even telling them details, like, that doesn't really exist in male culture. It's kind of sad.
Fucking with their reputation. You know the deal, dude. Like, domestic violence and anything involving sex, that shit never goes away.
I think, like, the joke usually that's bandied around is, like, men are terrified that women will ridicule them, and women are terrified that men will murder them. And op-eds in, like, mass media is women, ridiculing you. It's like using word of mouth to destroy your reputation. And I think that's what Bill Burr's so upset about, and that's really funny. Just being such a dude.
So I don't know. I just want to, give Stanhope fucking props for actually sticking up for the guy, because there's a lot of people.
Sure.
Because of the stigma around that, even if they know it isn't true, they're afraid to throw their hat in the fucking ring, right?
That's a base take. Like,
now, I don't know what the fuck happened or whatever. Okay, I'm just saying the fact that somebody finally just said, "Hey, this guy hasn't been tried for anything yet. He's a friend of mine. I know he would never do this." It was refreshing to finally read that, and for somebody to finally say, what I believe is you shouldn't put somebody's name out there until, 100% tried and convicted. They definitely did that shit. And then if they did,
maybe that's the line, right? Like, you tell your girlfriends, you tell people who, like, are in the same town as this person, but you don't, like, blast them on. But usually people do this on social media, and then it spreads and goes viral. So, like, I don't know.
Tar and feather them. But to do that to somebody, and also to give that weapon to somebody that they can just fucking say that and blackmail you with that and really destroy your rep.
But Bill, I know he would never do this. He's a good guy. I know him. It's like, yeah, you ever been in a bedroom alone with him? You know him like that? Like, come the fuck on. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's good to be, like, you're standing up from your pal, and, that's an example of emotional support, but maybe you don't actually know. Maybe you don't actually know what's happening behind closed doors,
Reputation.
This is one of the rare Bill Burr takes I actually pretty strongly disagree with.
I don't know. It's fucking reprehensible. So there's another thing that isn't really funny.
I think more the interesting point here is just how much power media is starting to have over people's lives and how people are turning to it and, like, virality to cause harm. I think that's a more interesting point, like how it's a new tactic. No longer do you poison someone's name in the village square. You do it across the world.
It's like all those Duke lacrosse players. This shit, they just fucking faces all over the fucking... And to this day, despite the fact that they were totally vindicated, despite the fact that there was the 30 for 30 talking about how bad they got railroaded, despite all of that, that's still going to affect their lives. There's still going to be somebody going, yeah, but something happened. Somebody, when they get mad and they got nothing else to say, they're going to call him a rapist or something like that. You fucking know that they're going to. So, I don't know. I don't know. It was good to see. And of course it was Stanhope. Stanhope's
okay. So that's Bill Burr's take. Lol. I'm enough. I think we heard it. That's gonna be the end of the stream, everybody. But he knows history. Capital T truth. That was a good stream. Tomorrow's gonna be a bit longer. I want to dig a bit deeper into the not Freedom Convoy. Let's see what's going on with that. Thanks so much for checking out. I think I'm actually going to try running some ads, if that's cool with y'all. Yeah, I think today they're showing up in Ottawa, and tomorrow I'm thinking there should be, like, some videos we can watch, some news stories, some Twitter threads, something that we can pull to try to, like, piece together what happened without actually being there. And I think that could be pretty interesting. So yeah, thanks so much for checking out the stream, and yeah, I'll try to find like some sort of debate panel or something a bit more collaborative in the future. School starting, I think, next week, so I'm going to start getting busy again, and probably switching the schedule just to Thursday to Sunday. But yeah, there we go, everybody. Holy cow, it's another Be Weird broadcast. We did it. Holy cow. Oh geez. So yeah, I'm gonna run that break, and y'all have a lovely rest of your day. See you later. Thanks again, Loud Tyrant Youth. I'll see you later. Running the ad now. Now, actually, you're gonna be the only person who doesn't see the ad. Now that I think about it. Okay. All right. I actually don't know what to do for a whole minute. I guess we'll listen to the rest
Good
of this.
fucking man. As is Johnny Depp, by the way. A few times, he's a big stand-up fan. He comes out to shows. He's fucking humble as hell. You know, gentle, one of the most gentle fucking people ever. You know what I mean? Look, listen to me. Listen how the fuck I talk. You know what I mean? You'd understand it if it came, you know, somebody said that about me, that he fucking snapped like Posey and fucking Dirty Dozen. I don't know. I barely know the guy. I've only met him a few fucking times, but like, I really tend to believe what the fuck Stanhope is saying, and I 100% believe it. You should not be putting somebody's fucking name out there just because somebody said it. You know?
Somebody famous.
This fucking state is brutal.
Somebody famous.
He's going for fucking spousal support, you know? Going for fucking spousal support, which means he's got to pay her for like the rest of her
Yeah, like 15 mil. That's the part that's really funny.
fucking life. She married the guy for 15 fucking months. And you know what kills me about that person? She's going to fucking go to the Beyonce concert, right? All the ladies independent. And well, you watch her throw a fucking hand up.
Stop. All right, everybody. Okay, that's it for the stream. I'll see you later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.